I sided with Hasan more than I did with you, but I think for different reasons. You sounded pretty like pro-state, which was interesting to me. And again, I don't know you very well yet. I'm still learning about you. But like when
I'm a stock dump, so I'm a huge fan of the state. I mean, that's gonna inform a lot of my politics, yeah.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
I am absolutely not being sarcastic. What, are you like a hardcore libertarian ANCAP? I am a huge suck dem. I love the state. Oh my God, through the state, all things are possible. Amen.
Stop.
I'm not being sarcastic.
No.
What do you think I am politically? What did you think I was a fucking ANCAP? Are you serious?
No, I just thought you were more like I guess leftist-y with like a little bit of like libertarian
I'm not
energy.
a leftist. I am a liberal. I radiate liberal.
So you're like are you like a Democrat? How was your date with Lauren Southern?
I don't know why you say it like that. That's an off-stream conversation, okay? Just don't worry about that.
What? I can't talk to you. You said that you were open. You said you were limitless.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just messing with you.
You better be. Okay.
Different topics. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Just,
so how was it? Was it romantic? Did you kiss her at the end of the
it was
date?
super romantic. We walked around DC. We argued with people about immigration. We streamed together. It was the epitome of my life. Okay. For the first time in my life, I genuinely considered whether or not I should be conservative. So
That's what I thought. I was getting that feeling as you were talking to those two guys about the Capitol. I was like, here it goes, his MAGA moment. But what is that like? You have a bubble you live in. You chose that bubble. I'm curious on why you chose it. And then how did it feel like interacting with people on the Capitol who had different bubbles than you?
I can interact with anybody. I enjoy interacting with all sorts of different types of people. So, I mean, it's fine. I have lots of different types of friends, family members, whatever. I think that one of my strengths as a person is that I'm capable of like talking to people that severely disagree with me, but we can have conversations where they don't feel like I am condescending to them or being judgmental of them. So, yeah.
Yeah, you seem to do that pretty well. You also seem very like passionately inclined towards your opinion. I've been finishing up again the Destiny lore, so I'm almost caught up with your past a little bit. I will say I was emotionally exhausted after watching you and Daddy Hasan talk about Kamala Harris and arresting mothers who don't take their kids to school.
Yeah.
And so I guess I did want to ask you, like, now that I've been observing you and watching a few more of your videos than normal, I'm just curious, like, why do you live in the bubble you live in?
Are you asking me, like, why do I have like the thoughts and ideas and opinions I do, or why do I have the company? How far back do you want to go? I was born in 1988, December 12th.
Are you just going to give me an answer of like you're a product of your environment and this is why you are the way you are?
Yeah, I mean, I can't know for sure. I mean, I played a certain set of video games. I watched a certain set of movies. The certain media that I happen to consume. I don't know why I am the way that I am. I mean, I can give you like I can give you an answer, but I don't think that answer is going to be insightful at all. And it might not even be true, but I don't know it. I mean, I like to think that I go after the positions that I consider to be the most true, that conform with reality as much as possible. When it comes to political or philosophical stuff, I try to come from an angle of like what environments can be created that create like the best lives for the most amount of people. So that's where like my political philosophy comes from. As for why, I don't know, just because it's the kind of person I am. I'm not entirely sure 100% why, but yeah.
Okay, I guess that's fair. So I guess I'm curious then, would you consider yourself a daddy?
Okay, you got to tell me what you mean by that. I don't know what that means.
Another question. Would you consider yourself a top?
Probably not. Maybe out of necessity. I don't know. A lot of people, almost everybody that I'm with is fairly submissive, it seems, or becomes that way around me. But
is that how you felt is that how you feel when you interact with like your friend groups on stream or when you're talking to people or debating? Do you feel like you bring top energy to that?
Jesus. I don't think I contextualize it that much in a conversation. I don't carry that same terminology, I guess, mentally with me, so I'm not sure. I haven't thought about it that way before. I would say that the way that I engage with somebody in a conversation is going to dramatically vary based on the type of person that I'm talking to. So,
oh my God. Wait, Steven, I'm so sorry. Can you even see me right now?
No, it's just like two little rotating
Should I?
boxes.
I'm so sorry. I forgot to plug in my second webcam. Would you like to see me? I look pretty good today. Like, would it help you or no, you don't need to see me?
I mean, if you want to. I always like looking at wonderful, beautiful women on the internet. I'm trying to be like a normal person right now, okay? Just show me show me the camera. Turn it on.
Did you say you're trying to be a normal person right now?
I don't know. Listen, I've had it it's been a week, okay? Just
I don't even
a lot of stuff going on.
Okay. Well, Do you want to talk about it? Do you need a hug? Do you want to cuddle through it? Or like, what do you need?
Yeah, fly on over, okay? I'll shoot you my address. We can have a good sit down. We can make some kratom tea.
Oh, great.
Drink
I'm on my
away.
way.
Yeah. Okay, yeah,
I'm
sounds
on my way
good.
right now. Okay, hold on. Do you see me now?
Yep, we're all waiting. I absolutely see you. Oh my goodness, wow, stunning.
I know,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you. Guys, do you mind seeing two of me or should I move Steven over his screen? I'm so bad with tech. Please don't make me work too hard. I'm such a boomer. I just figured out how to find my ats on Discord, so you know, I'm thriving.
Nice.
Okay, so hold on. Switch my arms here. Okay. Okay, so here's the thing. I wanted to talk to you about this because my Discord and I, my cult and I, were discussing whether or not you were top, bottom, or switch, or even, God forbid, a daddy. And when we think about these things, we think about not just like sexual stuff, right? Because that's easy. You usually know what's going to happen. But in life, you go about, you walk into a room, you kind of like feel a vibe, you know, where people stand with you. I find you to be more switchy with a bottom tendency myself, but you yell so much, it's almost like a top. But the thing is, and I am curious, when you like have a discussion with someone, do you think about like the power exchange that's happening, or do you just treat everyone like an equal? Like everyone's there for the same reason you're there?
No, absolutely not. The way that I approach conversations or interactions with other people in rooms is going to dramatically vary based on how the other person is acting. So like, I guess if I'm using the words you're using, I guess the ideal interaction I have with somebody is a switchy interaction where maybe we're both almost have like topish energy, but we're fighting over it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Okay, yeah, so something like that. So I like women that are like very bitchy, very like forward, very like arguing, like making fun of me. Like that kind of back and forth is very fun for me. I enjoy that type of stuff. When it comes to like debates or conversations, the type of conversation I have, I don't know if I would think of that in terms of like top or bottom energy. Usually my goal is to reach some level of understanding with the other person, but how I do that is going to vary based on the amount of charitability or good faith they're going to come at me at. So if somebody is coming at me with good faith, then we're probably just going to have a good conversation. There's not going to be very much shouting or screaming at all, and we're just going to talk about a particular topic. We might agree, we might disagree, but I don't feel like I'm trying to like bully them or boss them around. I feel like we're just kind of like sharing ideas, going back and forth, and I'm presenting my argument as is. If the person is bad faith, then there's two ways that they could be either bad faith. They can be like, there's somebody I argued with recently, BX Bullet, who's just very dumb, and they're bad faith because they either can't follow a conversation or they're just like screeching or whatever. No, not screeching. They're just like saying dumb things. In those conversations, I tend to get a bit irritated. And it's whatever. It is what it is. And then there's conversations where the other person is like bad faith, but they're like aggressively bad faith. Like they'll be like screaming and screeching at me. And then in those, I'll probably start screaming back because it's just fun to like do that dumb shit with people. Yeah.
So when you're having like these discussions, I guess what I'm most curious about is like, is every interaction for you a hopeful one where you guys actually problem solve together? Or is it more like, you don't even just solve a problem, we could just have a good conversation?
I mean, those can kind of be one and the same depending on what we're talking about, right?
True. I guess I was curious because as I was watching you and Hasan talk, first of all, you both would say things like, you're talking over me, you're not letting me finish. But like, I thought it was going fine. Like your pacing was good. Like you guys were doing great. But then you guys had opinions. And I think I was like kind of shocked that I think I sided with Hasan more than I did with you. But I think for different reasons. You sounded pretty like pro-state, which was interesting to me. And again, I don't know you very well yet. I'm still learning about you. But like when
I'm a Stockton, so I'm a huge fan of the state. I mean, that's going to inform a lot of my politics, yeah.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
I am absolutely not being sarcastic. What, are you like a hardcore libertarian ANCAP? I am a huge suck dem. I love the state. Oh my God, through the state, all things are possible. Amen.
Stop.
I'm not being sarcastic.
No.
What do you think I am politically? What did you think I was a fucking ANCAP? Are you serious?
No, I just thought you were more like I guess leftist-y with like a little bit of like libertarian energy.
I'm not a leftist. I am a liberal. I radiate liberal.
So you're like are you like a Democrat?
Oh yes, God, yeah. Joe Biden is my fucking American hero.
Steven,
yes.
I cannot tell if you're fucking with
I'm being
me right
serious.
now.
How do I show you I'm being serious right now?
I don't know. It just sounds so. Are you like? I just can't see it for you. But maybe you are, which would make sense, I guess. I guess that would make sense. So, are you like in the Democrat bubble?
Sure, whatever bubble you want me to be in. Whatever bubble Joe Biden's in, that's the bubble I want to be in.
Fuck, motherfucker, I feel like you're legit. I cannot tell right now.
Okay, listen, I'm going to be totally honest with you, okay? I am sarcastic a lot, and it's really hard to tell when I'm being serious. Okay, I am being serious right now, though. I'm a hardcore liberal. I am staunchly liberal.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very liberal. So I fight to the death with like commies and socialists, those cringe motherfuckers, and I'll fight to death like libertarians and alt-righters and ANCAPs and shit. Okay,
so
to the death.
Where would you place somebody like me who's more like a nomadic sort of political person that is really just like, I'm not an anarchist, obviously, that's kind of ridiculous, but I'm pretty aggressively like pro people over even organized society, but like not an anarchist in any way. This is outrageous. But like I wonder like what do you do with people like that? You know what I mean?
I don't know what any of your political positions are, so I don't know.
Ooh, interesting. I feel like we would align with a few core ones, but I guess that's interesting to me because to be in the Democrat bubble is such an interesting one, isn't it? Do you not see it as the same as being in the conservative bubble?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
If I saw them as being the same, then I would be in either one, or I'd be in both, right?
Well, I mean, you would be in the conservative bubble if you guess shared their like political, social ideas more, but like the bubble is legit the same though, right? It's like the same group of people arguing about the same things, but just like different perspectives on method, I guess. Is that like why you're a Democrat over a Republican?
I think that there are a few descriptive, like factual disagreements between Democrats and Republicans that I think Democrats are just like, I don't want to say objectively correct on, but like they side more with the science. And then in terms of like policy prescriptions, I tend to agree more with Democrats versus conservatives. But I mean, like both sides can make decent points depending on what particular thing we're talking about.
Okay, fair. How does your political opinions impact your personal life?
It depends on the type of friend that I have. So like if you're a hardcore conservative, we're probably, well, you know what? Actually, I can be friends with anybody. I shouldn't say that. Fuck that. Other people get mad at me. If we're like just gaming buddies, it doesn't matter what your politics are because we're probably not going to talk about it much. Mm-hmm. And then if we're like online like politics friends, then I mean, our conversations are probably going to be a bit more combative. But as long as the other person's okay with that, then I just have that type of friendship, I guess. So like so far, Lauren Southern seems to be somebody that is like okay with me. I don't want to say attacking her for her political stuff, but like we like give each other a lot of shit over it. But she doesn't seem to be like super ass mad about it. And I've had some friends in the past like that. But usually when it comes to politics, people are very, very, very sensitive about their beliefs. So if we have a disagreement, it usually ends the friendship almost immediately, or it's like on the path to destruction. And
you don't hold any beliefs that strongly that it could ruin things for you?
I mean, I'm sure there are. Like if I was with somebody that was like an avowed like Nazi and they're telling me, oh yeah, like yesterday, I bullied like 3 Jewish people to kill themselves. It's kind of like, I don't think I could probably be friends with that kind of person.
Sure.
Or if it was like a hardcore like commie or something like, oh yeah, like I set fire to a bunch of business yesterday. It was awesome. Probably not going to get along with that kind of person. But I'm not sure if it would be because of the political beliefs or if it would just be that their politics would probably bleed over into their personality and who they were personally such that we probably wouldn't get along.
That tends to happen in America, at least. People tend to identify. It most certainly happened with me when I was in my different adventuring moments. I think that's really human, though. I think it's really human to feel like your beliefs, politically especially, reflect some sort of moral compass within the self. So I think that's fair that people would want to be on the right side of history, quote unquote. So I guess when I think about you, what I'm trying to form in my head is like, who is Steven? Like, what is Steven about? What does Steven care about? Who is he as a human being, right? I think all humans are they all have different levels of interesting about them. And there's something really passionate about you that makes me feel like he cares about things deeply. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I would say so.
And you care about honesty and like truth deeply or no?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I say yes, but I mean, everybody says yes to these things, so it doesn't really mean anything. No.
Absolutely.
Everybody's like, oh yeah, I love honesty and truth. Like, of course, everybody says that, right? But I mean, I would say that I do. Yeah, I think that like I think at this point I've been on the platform long enough and I've been through enough things that I think people can see that about me. People can say a lot of things about me, but I don't think many people say like, oh, he's a liar or a snake or whatever. Like I'm pretty forward and upfront with most things. Like an asshole, yeah, sure, maybe.
I like that about you, that you're open and forward and honest. So can you talk to me about why you cheated?
Sure. I think what happens in relationships is it's possible that at some point you're kind of comfortable with a person, but there are like some aspects maybe that you feel like aren't being fulfilled, but you don't like want to get rid of that person completely. So the idea is you go outside of the relationship and hopefully find things that fulfill those things that you feel like you're not getting. And that was basically what happened.
How old were you when it happened?
Probably, damn, that's a good question. 24, 25, or 26, or 23. I have no idea.
So
maybe
pretty
23.
young.
When was the? Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Okay.
People are saying 23 on my chat, so maybe 23.
I like how they know. They're like, wait, hold on, we know this. That's sort of sweet. That makes sense. Were you was that like your first adult relationship?
No, it was probably my third serious one.
Interesting. Cheating is so weird to my brain. Like I can't quite process it, but I also I can process it, but I can't it's like I understand I can create all the reasoning for it, and at the same time I always wonder how it happens like genuinely. Because I've been put in situations obviously where I've had offers and I've just mostly been like turned off. So does that not happen to your brain? It doesn't turn you off like to engage in that behavior, or would you say at the time it didn't?
So I guess the explanation I would give is I'm going to generalize a bit here. I don't know how true it is, but I think that men can separate sexual interactions with like romantic or emotional stuff. They tend to a bit more than women. So I think the problem I say the problem, but what happens is that when a man cheats on a woman, I think the woman feels like there's a huge betrayal, that the man must hate her, that like there's just a whole bunch of shit that's gone wrong for it to get up to that point. Whereas I think for I won't say a lot of men, but I guess for a sizable portion of men, they're like, oh, like I can fuck this person. It's just sex. It doesn't mean that I hate my partner or whatever. And,
right.
You know, I should do it in a time or whatever. Obviously, I'm not trying to justify cheating or saying, but I'm explaining like the different rationales or the different thought patterns in the head, I guess.
For sure. No, for sure. It's very interesting because on my live
wait,
show...
actually, hold on, fuck. I just want to say this. I already know there's like a ton of people who are probably mad as fuck that I just said this. I'm sure there are some women that can do this as well because women cheat too, not just men. And to be clear again, I'm not saying that this like justifies cheating or you should cheat or whatever. I'm just saying that it feels like sometimes when cheating happens, both sides view the event pretty differently. And then there's a lot of confusion, especially on the side of the cheated on person because they don't understand how the other person could do that. Because it seems like in their mind, the only way you could cheat on somebody is if you absolutely fucking hate them. So it's a very confusing experience. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
That's an interesting concept. Like, I guess when I was cheated on, it felt more like less that he hated me and more like, but like why? Like, I just didn't. It was very inefficient to me, so I didn't quite understand the why. And I don't even think he knew the why. I think the why for him was just that I told him he couldn't do something and he wanted to do it. Like that's my theory because we were in an open relationship. And so, like, the whole point was, like, yeah, just not, like, do you have veto power in your relationship with Melina? Like, if you want to fuck somebody who's crazy, let's say, like, I'm sure you have, and Melina goes, I don't know about that person, they got bad vibes, like, do you listen to her? Or you're like, nah, my dick knows better.
Yeah, we kind of have that, yeah.
Okay. So, okay, and obviously, like, let me know, if I'm hitting some personal stuff right now, because I'm mostly curious. Okay, so on my live...
basically, because it's an issue that I've wrestled with. I don't remember if we've tried over any of this before, but an issue that we've wrestled with is that like we both have veto power, but I never use mine because I don't really care that much. But there are times when she exercises her maybe a little liberally, but yeah, but yeah.
It's weird. Open relationships is weird. I've gone through lots of different variations of what I do on YouTube, and like one of them was like peer educator on poly, open, and /BDSM. And one of the things I did when I talked to couples is like the women usually had the issues with the open relationship stuff, which was always interesting to me because I'm the woman whose brain doesn't process it that way, but I can understand the issues. And a lot of it is just like a fear that they're going to leave you.
I think that something, again, I'm sorry. I'm not going to overqualify anything else. If anybody wants to misquote me, because I don't think you're misunderstanding me. And
no. I hear you. This is about you and me, Steven. No one else is here but me.
True. That's right. No one else even listening. Yeah, fuck it. I don't care to overqualify. Okay, so I'm done doing that. Okay. So I think in general, what happens is I think that of all the messing around that me and Melina have done, there has never been a point where she has been with a guy who's like, I think I really love you and I want to break you up from your boyfriend. But instead, every guy is ecstatic. It's like, holy shit, I can fuck you like for free, and I don't have to worry about like relations and anything. And it's like a good deal for them. But on my end, we run into problems a lot where the girl's like, actually, this was a good experience. I think I need to get rid of Melina and I want to date you. And I think that dichotomy, I can understand why some women might be uncomfortable with open relationship stuff, because on the guy's end, like it's unlikely that if his partner gets with another guy, that guy's like, I need to compete and break up with you. But on the girl's end, she might look at other women and it's like, oh God, are these women trying to compete with me? And I think that might be the issue that people run into. For sure.
I mean, I have to assume, because even because in poly or open, there's like a thing called like an anchor partner, and that's usually the partner you live with, share finances with, or / live a life with. And then there's like the people who come in and out. Right. So like for for your guys' situation, especially, I do assume, because you said you were open and not poly, that you are not allowed to, what are you laughing? Because there's the distinction? There is.
No, it's funny because like our relationship started off poly, but then it was like, no, this is definitely only open now. Yeah.
Poly is hard because you really have to be open. Like a lot of my poly friends have like 3 or 4 solid relationships that they like divvy out the day of the week with each other and stuff. So I can understand why that's really difficult, but I also understand why it's a lot of fun to have like open relationships and to enjoy each other and enjoy other people. Like, I mean, there's no way in my life that I assume I'll ever really be truly monogamous, though I say I am. I'm more monogamish, because realistically, like if I end up with somebody like myself, we'll understand the differences between those nuances. But I think it's really difficult to talk to the masses that aren't even open to same-sex relationships, let alone open ones, and let alone threesomes, let alone like, and so it's really difficult to explain what you're doing. I saw you on, what is his name? Lee Peterson, something Lee.
Jesse Lee Peterson.
Yeah, that guy.
No, not Jesse. Yeah, Jesse Lee Peterson. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. And he was talking, I just watched a few seconds of it really, but like him and you and Melina were explaining, and both of you said, oh, like it's fun and wonderful. But like, is that an answer for why you do open?
I do because it's fun and wonderful. I mean, what do you mean? I like to fuck people. What am I supposed to say? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. But like, there's so much that goes into it, like bad feelings or crazy lovers or like things that go wrong afterwards. So it must be worth the consequences. And fun is fun, but like, how much fun is worth the consequence of the aftermath?
Well, I mean, obviously that's a calculus that every individual has to make, but I would say that being in an open relationship, the added stressors of, making sure everything is running well with that is worth the added benefit of getting to mess around with other people, right?
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys do the whole traditional like STI testing and consent negotiation stuff, or do you guys just kind of wing it?
No, we just fuck hundreds of people and never test. Yeah, of course. Yeah, we get tested fairly regularly.
Good.
Depending on who the partners are and everything. And then consent yeah, I mean, yeah, of course.
Okay.
As opposed to not ever negotiating consent, or what do you mean?
Oh, yeah. Like I knew a guy once who in my 20s, we were hanging out and he's like, I want to have sex with you. And I was like, great, we have to get STI tested. And he's like, oh, no. And I was like, no. And he goes, I know if my dick has a cold, and I will never forget that ever my whole life. Like, I know when my dick has a cold. And I'm like, I love that for you, but no way, bro. Because he fucks strange like every 3 seconds, which is no judgment, fuck how many people you want. But I do ask that because I am curious. Some people have belief systems like, oh, like I
don't get STD tested.
I know you think this is crazy, but yeah.
That is crazy to me, yeah.
There are bubbles that really believe it's like insulting to have to get tested as if I'm dirty and unfuckable. And so they just avoid it altogether. So they don't ever have to be in that
I've met people like that. That's a red flag.
For sure.
If anybody, I love those types of people. They're my favorite because they're the easiest to avoid. If you ask somebody about like, hey, like have you been tested or whatever, like, what do you mean by that? It's like, oh, I'm never putting my dick in you.
Yeah.
Move on.
No, exactly. Okay, 100. So there's open communication and dialogue and all these things. So I guess I have a question hold on, wait. Let me think if I want to say this out loud that way. Let me think.
Okay, I mean, now you have to because
no.
really juicy.
No. This is my brain. I'm now remembering that people are watching us. So hold on.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah. Wait, I'll take my time here. Because my girl brain wants to ask like a very... Oh, I'll just ask it. Fuck it. But like, if you don't talk about it, don't.
Wait, hold on. We'll type it first, and I'll tell you if it's a good question to ask or not.
Oh, wait, people can see.
Actually, you know what? Never mind. Don't type it. Just do it. Fuck it. Who cares?
Are you sure?
Why not? Yeah, the worst
it's
that can happen
probably not
is
that big a deal. It's probably not a big deal because depending on your answer, right? It could be bad, I guess. It's probably not. You're probably fine. Okay. Have either you or Melina ever fallen in love with somebody that you're fucking?
Oh, I don't think so on Melina's end, or if she has, she's never told me about it. The worst that I do generally is I can get really big crushes on people. We might have talked about this last time where I said that like I try to have a rule where if I meet somebody for the first time and we have a lot of chemistry, I try not to do anything physical with that person for like 2 weeks to make sure that I don't like super mind fuck myself. So I've definitely gotten wound up where I'm like, holy shit, I have like a huge fucking crush on this girl right now. And I might even get like jealous if I think about them like messing with anybody else, just for this like weird like it's like this super mind fucky like 2 week period where your brain is just completely fucked. But like long term stuff, I mean like there are people that I like have like love, I guess, or have loved in that like I'm willing to invest like a lot of time like doing stuff with them and everything. So like we've had that before, but my time is like pretty constrained, so it's not like I'm spending all this time on other people and anything. So I don't think it comes up much, or it's not like a huge problem generally.
Okay, so now I want to piece it all together. The questions I've been asking for my brain's sake here. So you guys have an established relationship. There's consent that's been negotiated. You're good with STIs. You guys know each other. In the past, 10 years ago or so, you had moments of cheating. Oh, how many times did you cheat?
I mean, there were probably like multiple times in that relationship, but just that one time in that relationship. Like it was like with one girl over some time, probably.
Were you living together?
Yeah, but I think it was through like DMs generally. And then I think I visited her one time on like some event or something, I think. It's been a long time. This is a long time ago. But it was in that one relationship I cheated. And then after that, I was like, I think I'm just going to do open relationships. So it didn't really come up again.
Okay. So are you doing open relationships so you can avoid being a cheater?
Yeah, that's why I said I was only doing open relationships now. I was like, I can't do monogamous. There's no fucking way. Yeah, 100%.
So is the cheating just physical?
Yeah, for sure.
In your relationship with Melina, can you emotionally cheat?
Can I would she view it as emotionally cheating, or could I emotionally cheat?
More like for her end, is there a way within your relationship that you guys would be able to say like, holy shit, like Steven just emotionally cheated on me?
Yeah, I think she could probably feel that way. Yeah, for sure.
Does it matter?
Yeah, it would to her. Yeah, for sure.
No, I mean to you.
What do you mean by matter to me? Like, do I think it's bad, or do I try to avoid it, or?
What I mean to say is, and I'm really trying hard not to read this fucking chat right now because y'all are like you're feeding me information to ask him and I don't need it from you. But they're all like, he's cheated on every person he's dated. And I'm like, okay, well.
No, that's not true.
I didn't, and that's the thing is what I'm trying to figure out is this. My Discord really had a good conversation about YouTubers the other day. And of course you were there. So like, I hope we talk about you. And what we were trying to figure out is like the way you talked about your relationship the first time I think we spoke, I think it was, who cares? But either way, it was something where you were not very like quote unquote romantic, right?
I can be in short bursts. It's probably not good.
What does that mean to be romantic to you?
Like we're both monosexual. To be really gay, okay? There are times in my life where I can be really gay and do very sweet or romantic or thoughtful things that is just dumb. And it usually happens in that stupid 2-week period. But I've gotten largely in control of this. I don't think I've done this in the past like 3 or 4 or 5 years, really. In my earlier mid-20s, definitely. But like recently, no, I've gotten a hold on that stuff. You've gotten a hold on...
I'm sorry, I think I lost you a little bit. You've gone on
like I try not to be like overly romantic in like the first stages of like talking to a girl, but like once I'm settled into a relationship, like I mean I can do like some thoughtful things, like I make meals for Melina when we do lunch or whatever, or like small things like that, or like cleaning something up, or like buying her like cookies and a thing of milk or whatever, like cute stuff like that every now and then. But I'm not like an overly romantic person. Like you're not getting like bouquets of flowers from me all the time, or like huge gestures like that all the time. You know, I do what I can.
I mean, fair. I think in a really realistic relationship, I think, I mean, depending on where you live, like if you live in a farm and there's like wildflowers, that'd be kind of cute, you know, to get those. But in general, like you ain't gonna go purchase like flowers that are dying from a store every week. That's a lot of monies for things that are gonna die. So I understand
that's true, but if you're dating me, you're making the acceptance that you're probably not going to get the level of like romanticism that you would probably hope for from somebody else. Like that's, I think that's fair to say. You're settling for something a bit different there.
Yeah, which is fair. Like that's, I think, what's so curious about relationships, like choosing to cohabitate. You said something interesting about why you married Melina, and it keeps coming across like because you wanted to keep dating her. Is that inaccurate?
No, that's exactly true.
So are you dating her right now? Or are you married to her?
I mean, it's kind of weird to say because marriage implies some like usually a monogamous commitment or like a lifelong commitment. And I don't believe like in unconditional love or monogamy. So, I mean, we're married insofar as that like, yeah, we continue our relationship. But I don't know if anything changed like by us getting married.
Do you believe in ride or die? Oh, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Ride or die? As long as you're somebody worth ride or dying for, yeah.
Do you believe in the concept of like what I'm curious about, I guess, is like how your brain works. And these are not like I'm literally just curious on how Steven's brain works. So these are just questions to try to figure out. They're not got you questions at all. I hope you don't feel that way.
Go for it. Go for it, whatever you want.
So, like, if I imagine what your brain is like, okay, somebody asked me to ask you what, like, you did on Valentine's Day, but I don't even believe, I didn't grow up with Valentine's Day being a holiday we celebrated, except for to go to church. So, like, it's not even.
I'm pretty sure we just like went out to eat, and I think we walked on the beach for like an hour and chatted. Like, that's
sweet. That's nice. See, that's nice. I don't even celebrate V-Day, and I won't in my relationships, but I think that's pretty fair as a date, right? That's like, what else are you gonna do on a date?
I mean, some people do a lot of stuff, but.
Oh yeah, I'm just, I come from a suburb, everybody, so like basics here. Okay, so hold on, let me ponder.
Okay?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, ponder away. Go for it.
I'm pondering. I had like a whole thing I wanted to talk to you about, and then I woke up this morning, and then I was just like, oh, I'll just wing it.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. I guess, okay, here's the deal. When I get to know somebody, and like I told you, I don't really collab that often, but when I get to know someone, how do I say it like this? I am so attracted to your brain when you're arguing with people, even when I disagree with you. And that person, I know who that person is. That's like thinking Steven. I'm like, oh, there's Steven problem solving and thinking and trying to be like transparent and authentic, but also like being stubborn in his ideas, and this fucking Democrat boy, you know, whatever. That's cool. So like, that's him. And I'm like.
Implying what? You don't like do you think Democrats aren't worth admiration? Or sorry, go ahead.
You know, I don't know. Like it's confusing. Well, there's levels to that question, actually. I actually am a little less attracted to the concept of Steven when I know you're a Democrat.
That's good. I'm glad. You know what? When you asked me earlier, are you ride or die? If Biden told me to pick up a fucking M4 or whatever, go to war, I would march into battle. Okay, I wouldn't even have an American flag. I'd have a Biden patch on my shoulder. That's how ride or die Democrat I am. And you know what? When they killed me and they dug through my coat pockets to see what was remaining, like, did this guy have letters to his son? Or they wouldn't find any of that. You know what they'd see? A big old wallet full of pictures of Hillary Clinton. God damn, I just love that woman. That's who I am. Inside.
Have you ever cheated on the Democrat Party?
Absolutely not. That would be uncalled for. Okay, the reality is that, like, I have a moral foundation. From there, I build out a certain set of policy prescriptions. And right now, the Democrat Party tends to align with those more than the Republican Party. That's why I consider myself like a Democrat. Like, there's a lot of stuff that Joe Biden says it does that I don't necessarily agree with. There's a lot of stuff the Democrats here do that I don't necessarily agree with on both radical wings of the party. But in general, when I think of like which party has the capability of building a better society for everybody, right now I tend to align pretty hardcore with the Democrats. It could change in the future, but I don't agree with them on every issue. But that's how I view it.
I think that's fair. Like, look, I don't even remember the last time I do remember the last time I voted for a Republican. It was quite a long time ago. So like, I feel that, and don't get me wrong, like I actually just didn't vote in the last election, but I just re-registered to vote in my state, which I'm very excited about. And it should be interesting because I'm living in a small town, like I told you. And so I pay attention to the details here because I believe in small town, like focusing on where you live and helping your local community. Yeah. So that's my goal with being in politics. But as I've told you, I also left the political sphere a while back because I was so, I just don't think it helps as humanity as much as it could, but I appreciate the ways that it does, like voting rights and all that stuff. Obviously, I'm here for workers' rights. I keep hearing myself a little bit. Am I on speaker on your end?
No, but my headphones might be bleeding through.
Oh, maybe. Damn, that's a good mic, though. It's picking it up. It's very faint. It doesn't matter too much.
Okay.
So I was under the impression that you and Hasan were closely aligned at some point politically. Is that incorrect?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, that's fair. So
I understand the confusion, though, because he represented himself more safer politically, which would have appeared to align with mine. But truly, I don't think we ever really were aligned that much. We had very different, on the surface, we might have had some similar political positions, but I think fundamentally we have very, very, very different values, both epistemic in terms of like, well, what do we think is true? And then morally in terms of like, what is ethically good or bad, or, you know?
Actually, that is a great segue to an ethical quandary you were both experiencing during the N-word debate in regards to, which is our favorite word here on this stream. We love the word narcissist. So in relation to the N-word, when Hasan was basically advocating for presenting a different version of himself to his audience in order to move the cause forward, you were in disagreement with that, right? You wanted open transparency, correct?
I was disagreeing or wasn't disagreeing?
You were disagreeing with him. He wanted to create.
I was disagreeing for a variety of reasons. One is because that's not even true. There was versions of himself that he presented that absolutely loved the N-word, because there are podcasts that he's like huge fans of that use tons of slurs all the time. Cumtown being one of them, the Chapo Trap House being another. So I don't think that was even true. But even if I was to grant all of that, and I were to look past those lies, I probably would still disagree that like we have to lie about who we are to our fans. Yeah, I don't think there's any harm caused in me saying like, yeah, there's like some very racy humor, sexist, misogynistic, racist, whatever, that I think is like funny, but I think it's irresponsible to say it like on a public platform because people might take it different ways, and you don't want to do that. I think that's a totally fine statement to make. I don't think saying that is going to turn everybody into a racist, evil monster,
For sure. No, it's weird. So, okay, look, going back to kind of our first conversations, right? I always ask people like, why do you think humans are here, and what are we doing here, and everything like that? Because then I want to know why you hold certain beliefs, if the belief you have of like why humans are here, like if it coincides. So I'd want to ask Hasan that. Like, I hope he talks to me one day so I can ask him that question. Like, why does he think like we're here, and what does it matter? But when you're in politics, you live in a bubble, you're moving your like comrades forward, you have like an ideal, you have an idea of what you want, you're pushing a narrative. And so what I'm trying to figure out is how much of Steven exists that is less focused on how he fits the narrative and how he exists as an individual.
Can you rephrase? Like, do you think that there are parts of me that exist in a way to where I only talk about this particular thing or do this thing because I think it works better in terms of the political narrative I try to sell? Or
yeah, like how much of your ideas are similar to Hasan's, where you see Hasan within his value system might not mind lying to his audience because within his value system, it's worth it to push a concept forward, like politically. So he's willing to like bite the bullet there and like lose authenticity. But you are not willing to lose authenticity. And yet you're, the Hillary Clinton simp that you are. So the question is, like, do you understand the question now, or do I have to elaborate? I can if you want. I want
it in a different way one more time. Yeah.
Okay. So like basically what I want, hold on.
Thank God, don't fuck
it up. Oh my God. I feel like I'm Mr. Girl right now where I'm like, answer the question, Steven. Are you trying
to figure out like, are there parts of me that are like inauthentic, or how much am I like, or what, or like, do I believe in authenticity? Yeah.
How much of Steven understands and processes and it coincides with his actual belief? Like last time we talked, I think you said like humans are, you don't know exactly why we're here, but basically we're most likely like evolved animals over time. Evolution. Is that correct?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So, like, why does it really matter, like, what's happening politically, like, in any real way?
For why anything will matter is, how deep do you want to go? Well, why does it matter to me? I mean, it can matter because it's my job. I do it. Why does it matter to me? Like, why do I care? I don't know. I have some level of internal empathy for other people, and I feel like I'm good at having these types of conversations. So I feel like this is something that I can explore that maybe does something publicly and gets me a lot of money, personally. But if you're like, I don't think you can keep drilling down. I don't think I'm ever going to come to like some absolute, like, this is why. The reason why is because I was put on this earth to accomplish or effect this end or whatever,
Do you believe in altruism?
Not really, no. I think that people can be altruistic, but I mean, I think it all is like it's all still personally driven. Like you do it because you get some sense of satisfaction or happiness or whatever from doing it. Yeah. Okay,
so I agree. Like I don't believe in the concept of altruism. Like I understand why it's there, and I understand how it moves people to be good, quote unquote. But like I really don't think it's necessary. I'm not a Randian at all because I don't identify with one person's idea of the world. But I do appreciate her concept of like individualism or thinking about the self. But I want to go deeper than that. I want to suggest that there is something greater and much more interesting than this like surface level, let's be individuals and let's be a collective and let's be a community. Like, isn't there something more interesting about existing as a human than these things that have been presented to us?
I mean, I could go back to my very edgy atheist days and kind of give you, I think the boilerplate response to that would be, I don't think that it's bad to just look at those things because just the things that you mentioned already have like an incredible amount of like diversity, complicatedness, nuance to them already. Like individuals, communities, societies all have like 20 million different layers of stuff that you can analyze. I don't think we necessarily need to add some non-physical or immaterial thing on top of that to make it worth caring about. That would be like the atheist response. I would probably give a response similar to that.
Fair.
Because the answer that you're giving is pretty similar to a religious man challenging an atheist, like epistemic conception of the world, where they're basically saying like, oh well, you know, you don't know anything is true. Ethically, you're bankrupt. You have no greater purpose in life. Like, I think that's sad and pathetic. And then the atheist response is, well, I think that it's sad that you can't appreciate life and all its like beauties and complexities and intricacies, and you need to overlay some godlike abstraction on top of that to derive any value from it. I don't think that's a good thing.
No, I think it is so much more interesting than that. I think humans are so much more interesting than that. Like, I do agree with you. I agree. Like, in those, that is, people are taught to form their identities and their beliefs around the narrative of the opposing. Like, they don't think of themselves outside of the opposing. And so what I'm trying to figure out is, because I had this illusion, as I'm sure we talked about, so I'm sure you remember, right? Like, you had your moment with Hasan and like the boy lefties, and I had my moment with the girl lefties. And it's weird sitting in a room with people that you think are better than conservatives, and then you're like, but you're like all the same, right? You're like, we're all lying behind closed doors and we're acting differently in public. And so I wanted to erase, and I decided to like erase all of that out of my world and like put it in a corner and be like, I'll come to you later. But what I focused on was like living my life in a very particular manner, trying to figure out what it means to be a person and to exist. And I found myself becoming less violent and more community focused and more able to process everyone's differences. But because your content is rooted around debate, which is rooted around winning, I wonder if you do yourself and your disservice almost in that exploration of ideas because it's a debate and someone has to win.
I mean, insofar as a debate goes, I don't usually approach a debate as like my goal is to win. I mean, emotionally, I'm probably driven that way, but usually my goal is to just like illustrate who has the better position. Like, there have been conversations where the other person clearly just knew more than me about a topic, and I've had to kind of like take a back seat. But in those conversations, rather than it devolving to me like screeching or screaming, I usually just start asking a bunch of questions, because I realize like I'm a little bit out of my element for this conversation. Even if it's somebody that I would later on go to disagree with after doing more research, I'd be like, oh, well, okay, this person knows way more about this thing than me, so I'm not in a position to debate this person. So I would argue that like my goal when debating is not just like the be right thing. I kind of kickstarted like the debate sphere, at least on Twitch. But a lot of like the quote unquote debate bro kind of like approaches to conversations I think are really toxic, and I try not to do those.
Right.
I don't know if we've talked about this before, but like I literally have like advice like on how to not be that person. You know, like if you're having a conversation, don't ever bring up philosophy terms. You sound like a pretentious douchebag. It doesn't make any sense.
For sure.
And you probably both don't even agree on what it means. Don't ever do like you just did the X fallacy. Like, I just heard you say the X fallacy. Like, anytime somebody utters the word fallacy in a debate, it's already over, because now shit is just going to get completely stupid. You know, make a good effort to understand what the other person is saying, try to, et cetera, et cetera. Like, these are all like things that I try to do these in conversations. I strive to do these things in conversations. And if you watch the majority of my conversations, most of them are like this. But the ones that get the most popular are usually where we're both just screaming at each other. So a lot of people have this impression like, oh, yeah, Destiny, he's a guy that just screams at people on the internet all day. And it's like, the vast majority of my conversations are not like that.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're trying to get the best position possible, which position would that be?
Well, mine, obviously, right?
So I guess that's the issue, right? Is like, we're all trying to go for the best position, but what does that even mean?
So I have a certain set of like arguments that I will use for any given position. And if I have a conversation with somebody and I find out that one or more of these arguments that I use are incorrect, then I either have to like refine my argument to incorporate their criticism, or I have to adopt their argument if it's better than mine, basically. So there have been like beliefs over time where it's like, I feel really strongly about like campaign finance reform or Citizens United, and I know I'm right on this, and I'll argue a few times, and after a while I'll come up against a few arguments. So it's like, I don't really have a good response to this or whatever. And it's like, you know what, maybe I should reconsider my position. I think that position was actually more correct than mine, and then I'll adopt that, and then I kind of like build from there, basically. Okay,
I love this. Now, if we see ourselves and our lived experience as people pushing us into the best position, whether it's 69 or some sort of pro-life, pro-choice position, right? Like, then we're still seeing ourselves in regards to other people. So how do you start to examine the self outside of other people?
Well, when we're talking about like political positions, that would be impossible, right? Politics is defined as like, I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think you can do politics as one person. Like, if there is an island with one person, I don't know if that island would have like a political system or a style of governance or whatever, right? So, I mean, like in terms of politics, it's always going to be with respect to other people's opinions around you. In terms of like your personal like moral discovery or whatever, Even that actually might be defined with reference to other people, because like on an island where only one person exists, is there a moral system? Probably not. It's probably always going to be defined, like ethics is going to be like people's relationships to each other and how they ought to treat each other, not just how they, unless I guess you could believe in virtue ethics and just talk about how you yourself should live. Maybe it could be unethical on an island on your own to smoke a cigarette. But I think in general, like people would say that like these things all kind of work. They're defined as our relationships with other people. Yeah.
Okay,
Or that's
fair.
at least a huge component of it. Yeah.
That's fair. I wonder, I do have a love for philosophy, though my brain is so bad at names people, places, and things. But I've been really thinking about that idea of if politics is in relation to other people, is philosophy in relation to other people?
Well, I mean, it depends. Philosophy is a huge branch of like stuff, right?
Well, if we're exploring what is like wisdom or what is truth, like to have truth, truth is just such a subjective concept to my brain. So I guess, not to be such a relativist here, but like I'm trying to figure out, how do you go about exploring these things? I already know how I do it, actually. I'm more curious on how you do it.
I mean, like I have thank you. I have like things that I think are true. Wait, hold on. What I need a context for this question. Like, how do I personally decide like which things can be knowable, or just like how do I like figure out like, oh, like my position on this, like is this a good or bad position? Like
not even so. Like, how you said politics is in relation to people, and I'm like, that's great. I love that, right? Because you're right. If you were a person just alone on a planet, like how would that go? On an island, like how would that go? And so I guess I would argue that politics comes from the individual, and so it has to start with the individual. And so truth starts with the individual and what they observe, and then as a collective, we confer with one another like, hey, do you agree that we're both seeing the same and experiencing the same thing, and we're going to call it this like shared name, and we're going to agree on terms? And so I guess I'm trying to explore that concept of living in existence where you're actually self-examining your own existence in relation to existence, so two separate things. But it can't start from politics if politics is a reaction to humans.
I think politics is super downstream from other things, right?
Okay, what are those other things it's downstream from?
So I would say that broadly speaking, there's two fields of philosophy, and people will argue which one comes first, but it would be either be like ethics, so like what is morally good, what is morally bad, or epistemology, so like how do we know what we know, like what is truth, basically. Like once you've established those two things, then I think politics comes downstream from there. If you've actually thought about these things. In reality, I think that happens very rarely. What generally happens is we just kind of like osmosis the beliefs of the people around us, and then we just kind of like parrot that, because that's how society tends to work. The first thing I said would be like the ideal, like your political theory is downstream from your like your whole system of ethics or whatever. But in reality, your political positions probably just come from your friends and family.
I don't love the insinuation of that statement being that I do believe that a person evokes like free will and consciousness and free thought and contemplation on a spectrum. Obviously, I created a whole system for it, so, or at least an observational tool. So when I'm looking at Steven and I'm trying to figure out how introspective he is, and I'm trying to figure out how he's self-examining his consciousness, I guess I start to ask myself all these questions like, well, why does he believe this, and why does he fight for this so passionately, and like, why did he come to this conclusion? And if it just comes from your family and friends, then like, what's the point of talking to Steven? I should talk to your family and friends.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of how it goes with the vast majority of people, right? I think I might have even described this concept to you initially, that one of my biggest issues when I talk with people, did I tell you have I told you that I feel like most people are boring? I don't remember if I've said this publicly.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, shut up. So the reason why I feel that way is because, and I described this a lot on stream, and I think I've even said this to you before, that when you ask a person a question, the feeling sometimes is that they're kind of like looking to the left and right and giving you the answer that they're supposed to, depending on the groups that they're in. That's what the vast majority of questions seem to get answered by, is like, okay, well, I'm part of this community, so I answer this question in this way. And then also to add on to this, I don't necessarily think those types of people are like worse or better. I just think that like exploring like philosophy is kind of an arduous task to like pick up all of the tools necessary for that. And for a lot of people, they just don't care that much, because like your normative ethics position isn't going to help you like party on Friday, go to work Monday through Friday, hang out with your friends and family. Like it doesn't do a lot for a lot of people. So I can understand why a lot of people are just like, fuck all that shit, I don't care. But
yes, 1000%. And I call those people, usually people in bubbles, live in bubbles, die in bubbles, which is fine. There's no wrongness of that, because you're right, it is a lot of people. Do you consider yourself a part of that group?
No, absolutely not.
Why not?
Well, because I would like to think that I arrive at most of my conclusions through like individual thoughts I have that I generate from more foundational positions that I've spent a lot of time exploring. I would like to think that, right?
I want to know that. If it's like, I want to explore that part with you.
Okay, well.
So
the problem is that this position I think is generally seen to be like a good position, and everybody says they have this position, but people that don't have this position will also say they have this position. So it kind of makes it hard to like I can tell you that, but in terms of actually verifying it, I mean, I guess okay, hold on. When I do this with other people, typically the way that it goes is if I ask somebody about a policy position and I ask them, why do you think that this is a good or bad policy position? If they immediately default to like some moral claim about the position itself, instead of giving me a way that they can like explore that or how they arrive at that position, then I can tell pretty quickly like if they've thought through the position or not. So are you familiar with the concept of rent control?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I ask somebody, like, do you think that rent control, like, do you like rent control? Do you think it's good or bad? And they're like, oh, no, I think rent control is really good. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, why do you think rent control is like a good policy? And they're like, because I don't fucking hate poor people and homeless people. I'm like, okay, you've never thought about this in your entire life. This is I'm already like never talking to you about politics or flaws or anything, because I know this is going to be a waste of time, right? Whereas like if I can like, the goal is that like if I'm having a conversation about some particular thing, if you really want to, we can drill down like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 layers more to figure out like why do you believe that particular thing, right? Like, so if you ask me about rent control, let's say that I was pro rent control, right? I might say like, oh, well, I really like rent control because I think it effectively allows people to stay in their houses. Like, oh, well, why do you think that's important? It's like, well, I don't think that families should be, forced to move out of, where they've lived their entire lives. Like, oh, well, why should we have a society like that? Well, I think we should have a society where friends and families are able to build happy lives. They're able to live in a certain way where they're relatively free of being like bullied from neighborhoods. Like, oh, why do you think that's important? It's like, well, I think that broadly speaking, liberalism empowers us to make decisions, and that when we have the ability to make more decisions about our lives, it's like, oh, well, why do you think that's important? It's like, well, morally, fundamentally, I think that people are happiest when they're able to make free decisions and associations with other people. And we could go all the, and then like, oh, well, why do you think that, right? So we could have that conversation and take a step back at like any individual level and then argue or fight at that point. But I think for most people, they're just going to give you the top level position. And then when you say, well, why? They'll go, oh, because I'm not evil. It's like, okay, whatever.
Totally.
Did that make sense?
Yes, 100%. So obviously, I think you and I agree that when I meet these people and that like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like you're it's totally fair. I think most of the world operates this way. I mean, I have no issue with it. I don't think it's like an issue that they operate this way. But if you're going to distinguish yourself outside of that and say like, no, I like live in a bubble that's of my own making, right? So with my language, I call it like cultural bubbles, ideological bubbles. And then I think about like the individual's bubble, like my consciousness, like when I'm alone and by myself, I'm like the most authentic version of myself. Like the version of me that exists, that is so authentic, exists alone in a room. And then there's like other like ways I see myself, like when I'm online, like this, I don't know how y'all stream all day. Like I get so exhausted because I am so afraid I'm going to dox myself or say shit I'm not supposed to say online and it's live. So like once I get tired, I'm like, I'm out. I will slip up. But there's so if we're going to distinguish ourselves away from the populace, from the people who live in bubbles and die in bubbles, then there has to be a reason for that. There's usually evidence, like I've lived a life or I've learned this, it's made me more compassionate, or maybe taught me more about humans, or hey, I have this value system that I've created on my own, and then I try my best to live it within the world. Within the world usually is in conflict with our personal value systems, and so usually people create their value systems around the world, that way they don't have to be in conflict with it. Are you in conflict with the world?
Sometimes, I guess, yeah, it depends on what the issue is. I guess that the way that I feel is that oftentimes it feels like communities are built. There are like 2 very important parts of a community. There's the inclusive part of the community, which is like, these are the people that we share our values and we like, blah, blah, blah. And the thing that really bothers me is there's a very big exclusive part of a community. Like we define ourselves by what we like and what we absolutely cannot and will not ever like, and we have to fucking hate it. A really good example of this was, Growing up, I played all sorts of video games. I loved PlayStation 2. It's the best console in the world. Okay, it just was. But Nintendo 64 was awesome. Xbox was awesome. Like, I think most people loved. I think most systems growing up. I don't remember there being like Sega fanboys hate Nintendo fanboys. But with the advent of the internet and the ability to hardcore separate into these communities, you start getting these groups like PC Master Race, who for a long time like just shit on people that play console. Like, oh, fuck console nerds. Those guys are fucking losers. And the idea that you can't like identify as being like for a long time, I would never call myself a PC gamer. I'm just a guy that plays PC games. That's cringe as fuck. Like, I love consoles. I grew up playing consoles, and so did everybody my age or older, or even a little younger. But the idea that so many groups are built around exclusion makes me feel like when you identify with a certain group, you run the risk of losing so many potential life experiences that it's just, there's no purpose or reason for it other than like there's some fragility attached to being in a group. So I think that's probably a major drive for why I like to kind of do my own thing. So if I happen to run into some insane, like fucking anti-vaxxer hippie dude that like thinks they can talk to animals, I can enjoy a conversation with that person, and it'll be interesting to watch them interact with animals. And you know, fuck it, maybe there might be some experience there that I have and enjoy that I wouldn't have if I was part of some other group where it's like, oh, well, I hate those types of people, so I'm never going to associate with them, right?
Totally. So does this coincide with, wait, hold on, I lost it for a second. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather today, so forgive me if I'm off with my socialization skills here, my social skills. Wait, you said something earlier. Fuck me.
People are inclusive or exclusive. PC games versus Sega. Nobody talk about Sega or Nintendo. You might be able to have a good experience with somebody, but you would lose it if you were excluding them.
So is this why you're so good at being friends with all different kinds of people? Because you don't want to lose those experiences?
Usually it's just I'm really good at compartmentalizing and understanding that different types of people are different types of people for reasons. Like, there's no random shit. I think that I think I might have said this before, my early 20s, I was very, very, very judgmental of people that process things differently than me. I would say them as worse than me. They were just inferior. But as I've grown older and I've associated more with people, now I try to view people as like, okay, well, these people just think differently than me. And it sounds like sometimes when I talk about different groups of people that's like a cope, or like, I don't actually believe that. I'm just like, I just say that to sound good. But like, I truly, really do believe that, for example, there are a lot of people that are like hardcore intellectuals. They're very, very smart. They know a lot of shit. Maybe they got a lot of cool degrees. Not just degrees, they're actually genuinely smart people. And they're fucking miserable. They're like lonely. Yeah. They don't have very many friends. They don't really like their job that much, but they're really smart. And then you can find these like absolute dumb fuck, like 90 IQ rancher farmers who just like, herd cows all day or some shit. Yeah. And they're not very smart. These guys aren't like, they're not winning any internet debates. Okay. They're not blowing your mind with any crazy philosophical insight, but they super love their life. They wake up, they eat meals, they have fun with their family, they love working their job on their ranch or whatever. Their life is pretty simple. Maybe they're religious, they feel like they've got like something to look forward to in the afterlife, and these people wake up and live every single day of their life loving it. And at the end of the day, I got this insight due to my mushroom trip. But at the end of the day, you have to look at like, well, who's better off here, right? Is it the hardcore intellectual that's like hating every day of their life? Or is it just somebody that's found a way to exist in the world where they're like happy, healthy, and they're having fun with friends and family all the time? Yes. So I like being an intellectual. That's fun for me, if you call what I do intellectuality or whatever. But I think that too many people that try to be intellectual are so quick to discard all the other lifestyles. Like, that guy, fucking religious, what a fucking moron loser. I'm way better than that. I think my life is meaningless. Like, okay, dude. So I think it's important to try to like, rather than being a person that separates themselves and then like, says everyone else is dumb, I think you should separate yourself and then try to see how much you can take from every other group, where it's like, that guy believes that thing. That's really cool. I'm going to steal that from you and steal that from you, and then kind of build your own thing that way, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, it does. Okay, so stay with me here, because this is beautiful. This is what I want to hear. Okay. You're saying the words I want to hear. You're getting me going.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
I'm trying to. Okay.
It took a second, but we're really here. Okay, so that's exactly how I process reality, in the sense that everyone, like, people always ask me, like, do you identify as a Randian or as this person or as this? And I'm like, a Kantian. And I'm like, please, for the love of God, I can't. Like, I just want to take all the good ideas and put them together and make like a soup. You know what I mean? But then, because we're all individuals with different lives, we all create different soups, therefore creating a whole new different good, right? So instead, we can go with the objective, well, what is the truth? But even if something is true, I'm not sure if it's good or bad. So we can't even go there yet, right?
Why do you say that?
Well, I'm hold on. The example that came through my head when I said that is like, I don't want to bring it up again, but like, kind of like, I was thinking about cheating scenarios in my head. Like, sometimes my friends, I say like they're doing like bad things in the moment, but like, it's kind of like necessary for their journey and therefore overall kind of good. And then I'm like, well, I'm not going to quantify it then as like good or bad, but I can do it if I need to. So does that help clarify, or should I go into it more?
Do you think there are things that can be true that are like bad, or there are things that what like I guess that
I'm thinking more about personal relationships rather than like, is the moon true? Like, well, yeah, the moon is like, because I don't think you could put a moral judgment on that.
do you think that knowledge that you gain that makes you feel worse? Do you think that that is still good knowledge? Is truth or knowledge good in and of itself?
To the individual, it could be. To some individuals, it couldn't be. So for me, yes, the truth is better than a lie. But I think sometimes finding out the truth can cause harm. And if you believe in harm reduction, it could be an issue.
Okay.
And that includes the truth of whether or not God exists. I think about this all the time because when I was a militant atheist, I came to the conclusion that I need to save the religious, So as I was a religious person, I was saving the atheists, and now I'm saving the religious people. And then when I moved out of those bubbles and I moved into, and where I am now, which is like, I'm going to help people the best I can. My mom and dad asked me the other day, they go, hey, Betsy, when you do your calls with people and they're religious, do you like try to convince them out of religion? And I say, no. I try to ask them what their religious beliefs are. And then I usually Google or research like, okay, so this person is like this religion, or this person maybe is like vegan or something. I'm like, okay, so how do I give them advice or like feedback that works with their belief systems, right? And so my job isn't to convince people of the truth. I do think there's great harm in trying to convert the religious out of their religion. And so like, I don't do that, but I couldn't say whether or not it'd be great for the universe if we move towards an objective truth. Like, I'm not quite sure yet. But it is something I'm working on.
I think it's a good answer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I had the, if you would ask me when I was 29, I always thought that truth in and of itself was like a good thing. That just even uncomfortable truths, whatever, these are always good. You should always be like truth seeking. And then when I had my super big dumb mushroom trip when I was 30, there were points in that where I felt like I'd kind of unlocked a new reality that was like me sitting in a room all alone for the rest of eternity, and I was the only person that existed. And the prevailing thought that I had at the time was, man, I hate that I took so many mushrooms and like I revealed what reality truly is. I wish I could just go back to being an idiot and just thinking that all these other people exist. That's what I thought at the deepest part of that trip. And then when I came out of it, one of the insights I kind of had was like, man, maybe not all truth is good. Like if that is reality, I think I'm better off here like in illusory land than whatever the fuck that was. So that was kind of one of the big takeaways I had, but it took me kind of a weird thing to learn that. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that, because I think that does happen. I love psychedelics. We talked about this before. And like, I do think those meditation moments allow the brain to consider, how we see ourselves, which is why they're so helpful to the individual. And then it puts me in a position where when I came out of all my beautiful exploration through drugs, a really nice serenity in regards to how little I know and how much I was falling into the bubble trap of thinking I should save people, convert people, stop people, like regulate people, control people. It all came down to what was my true desire prior. And it was like to control people, I think, ultimately. And now I'm less inclined to want to control people. How do you feel like you, after your mushroom trip, were less inclined to want to control people?
I don't know if I ever had that inclination before, unless like arguing to convince counts as controlling.
It does. Yes.
No, I think I still want to quote unquote control people, but like because I want people to obviously believe that what I'm saying is correct. But I guess the way that the things that I argue for are different than they would have been before. So like before, I would have wanted to control people in terms of having them think truth is always good no matter what. But now I would want to control people into thinking that like truth isn't always the best thing. Like it's an instrument. It's a truth is something that we use to make ourselves happy. It doesn't give us happiness in and of itself. So I would still want to be like controlling. I just would try to control them in different ways. If we're talking about like debating or rhetoric as a form of like changing people's minds on things. So to make sure I understand and I'm not retarded, you're saying that you want to convince people that to come to agree with your positioning because it's rooted in truth? Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah, for most of the things that I argue with, it depends on what we're talking about. Like if we're talking about like the effectiveness of a political policy, then absolutely. If we're talking about like personal life choices, then absolutely not. So one thing that I see a lot is sometimes some people on the internet I've heard argue about like polyamory and stuff, and they'll say things like all of monogamy is just people that are really fucking jealous and they're just like losers. I was like, well, I don't know about that, dude. Like, I think that it's totally fine to be in monogamous relationships. I think for some people those are better than polyamorous relationships for a variety of reasons. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being in a monogamous relationship. So yeah, like my goal wouldn't be to like convince somebody on like every single personal issue I have, but like on some like big, like on things that are more kind of objective or like separated from like your personal experience, you know, I would hope to convince people on those things. Yeah.
Okay. I had one of my patrons during, I'm not even gonna lie, I love my one-on-one calls. They're all so unique and different, but one person spent literally the time talking to me about like what's better as an argument, like Hasan or Destiny's way of arguing points. And what we were basically trying to figure out is if I feel like Hasan is one of those people who's willing to take like little Band-Aid fixes to things, but at the same time wants like perfection out of his politicians and out of people. And if they don't align with his ethics, then they don't count, which is weird because he doesn't even align with his own ethics, or maybe he does. Like he was going off about how politicians are hypocrites, but like Hasan is a hypocrite. So I'm not really sure how that coincides with his belief system. I'd have to ask him. But then I was thinking about your version, which is like to get down to what appears to be the fundamental issue and a problem in order to solve it. So you could say that your version takes longer because you would have to be able to move through the bullshit. And at the same time, it's I think very simple. So my argument to my patron was like, look, Destiny's version of argument is to move people quickly through problem solving. And Hasan's takes longer because he needs it to be a particular way for it to work. He won't work with people who are opposing. He won't do this. There's a lot of won'ts. But yours seems very open. And is it because you believe you have the truth and so you think there's an easier path to it?
I can talk to you about my particular system, but when conversations involving Hasan, we're going to have radically different
That's
points
okay.
of view on it. Okay.
That's
yeah.
okay. We don't have to talk about him.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, because we're gonna view him very differently because I've spent more time with him or just very differently or not.
Yeah, I don't know him personally, so it'd be very different for me.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't need to know him personally to know how fucking stupid half the shit is. But regardless, I think that my goal is going to change depending on the type of argument I have. Yeah, and who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to a really open-minded person, usually my goal is to just get them to consider something they haven't considered before. So I'll use a charged example. Let's say that I'm talking to somebody that thinks that black people aren't human, okay? Like, the goal of that conversation is not going to be, this is going to sound crazy, okay, but whatever. The goal of that conversation is not going to be that like black people should have all the same rights and privileges and everything as us as society. The goal of that conversation might be that like, okay, well, even if black people aren't human, like if they're kind of like human, shouldn't we treat them better? That would be like the stopping point for that conversation. And then if we have a conversation in the future, maybe it might be like, okay, well, they're probably human, right? And then in the future, it might be like, well, shouldn't they have like some of it, right? It's like kind of like I'll try to find somebody where they are, and then my goal is to move them a little bit further, basically, is my,
I love
some
that.
people will get mad. Yeah, when I have a conversation with people, some people will get really mad because they feel like the position that I'm encouraging is like way off my politics. And oftentimes it is. It's like way, like if I end a conversation, I move them to something, they're nowhere fucking near where I'm at on the topic. But I feel like I've kind of, at the very least, I've like given them something to consider. That's one big thing. And the second thing is if I'm talking to somebody that's like talking to me in good faith, I always want them to feel like they have like a soft landing pad or like a safe place to explore that thing with me where I'm not ready to jump down their throat and be like, I got you, bitch. I knew you fucking agree with me. Right? So like if I float the idea that like maybe illegal immigrants, like even though they're illegal immigrants, they actually do help our economy. Like, don't you think it's possible that, you know, they have stolen Social Security numbers so they don't get Social Security? Like, couldn't some of these people maybe like pay into a tax system and not get money out of it? I want them to feel like they could be like, yeah, okay, maybe that could happen without me being like, yeah, I got you, motherfucker, you admitted it, right? That's never the goal. The goal is like, okay, let's like consider an idea together that maybe you haven't considered before. And then when I leave that conversation, hopefully it leaves them with a little bit something more to grab onto rather than feeling like they were in an incredibly adversarial 1v1 where the other person was like going for their throat the whole time and they bled after the conversation, you know?
For sure. I love that. I think that's a skill. I don't think a lot of people have that in debate arenas because, like I said, I do think a lot of them are trying to win. So it's very difficult for them to consider that they need to meet people where they are and they need to be compassionate and consider like truly that this person has a lived experience that's informed them of their beliefs, you know? So
like where people are can be so far off where like especially conversations online are. Like I remember there was like we were watching a video of there was a guy going door to door trying to talk to people about, I think it was a trans bill that came up, and there was a woman, and a black woman, she answered the door and she seemed to be friendly towards the people, and just like without even thinking, she's like, oh my god, like I think like my cousin is a tranny, I love him. And I was like, whoa, and every my child was like, oh my god, she's horrible, evil, transphobic. It's like, well, hold on, chill, dude. Like the conversation in real life, especially in the community, is really far away from where the conversation online is. And the guy at the door did a really good job at like trying to walk her through a thing. Like, well, you've got a cousin, he has these issues. Like, wouldn't you want him to get medical? And at the end of the conversation, she's like, yeah, I think I would support. She went from being a non-supporter of whatever that referendum or bill or whatever thing was to being like, yeah, I would support this. I think so. Like, you can mark me as a supporter.
Totally.
And I thought he did a really good job in that conversation. Yeah. Okay,
no, 1000%. Okay, so I'm just trying to, again, just learning your brain. So okay. Yes, I agree with all these methods. I think these are really good ways to do it. Actually, that was the issue I had mostly with the left is they had an issue with like wanting to work with people with where they were and just wanted people to be right away like women are women and no matter what and everything's black and white, which is funny because I feel like even if you go past, so when I had this, here's how my brain works. Sorry. Okay. So like, when I was in politics, I thought similarly, like, let's get people as close so we can win these states and elect these people and get things going and create funding. And then I found that it wasn't helping the human experience. Like the consciousness wasn't getting any stimulation. And if anything, people were becoming more just stagnant with their ability to problem solve. And then I felt like I was contributing to that because I was working through politics instead of through the means of like, I don't know, philosophy, spirituality, whatever you want to say, like metaphysics, whatever you want to, like what word you want to use. But basically whatever I'm doing, that's what I want to do. And I'm trying to figure out like, I don't like to think that I am so fucking perfect that I have like the answer for a planet of humans. And I have to assume that there's going to be so much fucking nuance that like whatever scenario we can't even comprehend yet is occurring. And because of that, it makes me feel like very cautious about bringing people to my side, whatever that means. But you, if I'm not mistaken, still believe you have some sort of side to bring people to. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. There are some things I feel strongly about. I'll change my position if I need to, but like I figure everybody else is trying to move people. So, I mean, if I'm not, I'm losing ground, I guess, in that sense. So, yeah, I mean, I am trying to move people towards my side. I do try to be careful, though. Because there are so many things that I believed so strongly 5 years ago that I've like almost 180'd on at this point. When this whole Ukrainian-Russian conflict dropped, like I didn't really talk much at all about it for like I think like a week, and my whole fan base hated me. They're like, Hasan has 150,000 viewers and Vosh has 20,000 viewers, and I was like, I just don't really know that much about it. Like I don't think this, but I don't really know. Then I took like a week to read up on it. It's like, okay, now I feel a lot more comfortable giving like much stronger opinions about it. But if I just go on to say nothing forever, then I mean, you just basically cede that ground to other people that are willing to be influencers or thought leaders or ideological, beacons or whatever you want to call them.
Okay, so work with me here. You see yourself as a leader?
I mean, to some extent, any streamer is, right? You're leading the people around in listening to your conversation, right? Absolutely. I think, hold on. This isn't an opinion I have. This is a fact that I will defend. You just have no option to say that like, oh no, I don't think so. Like you're absolutely influencing your audience. Like regardless of what you tell them, like they're going to believe things or they're going to start to slowly change their mind based on the things that you say. So to some extent, you're a leader, whether you want to be or not, if you have a platform or an audience and you're speaking to them actively, right? Even if it's not your goal, even if you tell them every day, hey guys, don't listen to me, I'm imperfect, blah, blah, blah. People will listen to you. They will copy you. Like they will do shit, right?
Yes. Which is like very human, right? Humans are going to human. So like, I'm not upset about it. Obviously I am one of those people that likes to remind my audience constantly like, hey, I'm a person, I shit just like you guys. Please don't take me seriously. But at the end of the day, like I take certain things about myself seriously. I don't have the same drive you have, where I don't feel like I need to bring people to my side, unless you count my side as, hey, take a fucking chill pill, which I guess like is my strongest position that I hold.
Sure.
I have very strong like.
I'm sure if we were arguing some things, I think you'd feel a little differently. No, like if I was to tell you that, like I genuinely think gay people are disgusting and I don't think their lifestyles are good for humanity. Like I feel like you'd be like. You wouldn't just be like, oh, just take a chill pill. You'd be like, I think that's probably not a good thing for you to believe. Like,
do you want my honest? Like, I'll give you my honest opinion.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. What is?
Like my personhood, I don't really care what people think about anything, as long as they're not killing people or throwing people in prison. So like my whole thing is like, do not control people, do not stop people. But like I do come from a background where like my parents are extremely anti my queerness. Like it's the reason I literally have borderline. Like it's fascinating. So I have to accept every day that I have a permanent mental illness because of my parents' religion and how they treated me. And yet I can still support my parents and their religion and their belief systems, even if it means the sort of their desire is to create like a unlivable world for me ultimately. Right?
Yeah, but you're not. What about the things that people do right up to the step of violence? So this is kind of the stuff that, have you ever heard of like the paradox of intolerance?
Actually, I don't think I know what that is.
It's like this idea that like we should be tolerant of all thoughts and beliefs and all creeds and everything, and that's cool. And like as long as you're not actually killing people, like it should be fine. But what if you are a gay person and you're living in a society that's becoming increasingly hostile towards you? Maybe not in an overtly violent way, but like you can't get married. We get rid of civil unions. You're allowed to be discriminated against. Like eventually, it's gonna get to some point to where like a gay person or a black person or any other person could be like, hey, this is bullshit. Society's fucking me. And the most difficult people to get through, and I had this problem a lot when I first got into it, the most difficult people to get through aren't the people on the other side saying, hey, who cares? Fuck gay people. I don't like any of you motherfuckers. Go die. It's the people in the middle that are like, well, hold on. Shouldn't we respect all beliefs here? Like, shouldn't we, as long as no one's actually killing you, like, is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a challenging thing to get across sometimes. Because
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Diversity of thought, everything is important, but like at some point you're like, well, hold on. You know, there's a thing here. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Tell me.
I just saw a dumb meme and it was just, it's just a lot to explain.
Okay, got it.
Okay,
got it. No, I think
that's the issue. Yeah, go ahead.
I think we agree. Like I'm all about efficiency. So my issue is that I super struggle. So my personal bias super struggles with the idea of other people telling other people how to live by enacting laws that limit them. So obviously, like I always tell my parents, like you can be as anti-LGBT as you want, but I will not tolerate you like facilitating like politicians getting into office that will then in turn like cause people to have limitations on their freedoms. So like we obviously disagree on that. We go back and forth. I like definitely create a stink. I'm like a total cunt when it comes to that stuff, but not on the premise of we must like, it's not because I think gay people are good that I fight for them. I'm fighting if I have to for the freedom of the individual to exist on a planet that they didn't consent to being on. So like we're all born. I understand people fuck, but they have babies. We're the babies. We have an ability to like have a conversation with our consciousness that leads us to realizing like, holy shit, like I'm literally unable to do things because people. And then you have to kind of create a society that acknowledges that. And instead of getting frustrated and killing the people who won't let them do things, maybe we can come to some sort of consensus where we like we learn to tolerate each other to whatever extent we can without regulating each other in a really inefficient manner. So it's kind of one of those things, right? But let me tell you this. I don't have any aspirations for ever making this happen.
Okay, sure.
I don't think it can happen that way. I don't believe in like utopias or like mass change. I believe in like slow incremental change that happens over time on the macro and micro. It's like working out. You're
never going to the gym to build like the perfect body. You're just trying to get as close to it as you can. And and the process and the whatever incremental achievement you make is better than what you had before. Right?
Absolutely. That's 100% how I feel about my own body because I've been working out more and I'm not that person. And so it takes a lot of effort for me. But one of the things I say is that because I do get questioned not only on working out, that's such a good example though, but like everything you're talking about. Absolutely. Like this idea of perfection really bothers me as well. So I guess that's my question then. So if we agree, I feel like we agree more than we disagree, and yet our methods of existence are quite different. And so I guess I'm curious about those deviations. Not that they matter. Like your answer is a good enough answer for me. I'm not trying to change your mind. I don't think I need to. I'm just trying to explore the ideas with you in case we could go somewhere different with them.
So at the beginning of this conversation, you asked me why I was the way that I was. Maybe one insight into this was very early in my life, I've always been like a very outgoing person. I can like always like talk to any group of people. I was very anti-cliquey. I had lots of different friends from like theater kids to wrestler kids to band kids to I just for whatever reason, I was like a very social kid. I could always talk to a lot of people. And one of the things that I like to do was, I think I like to argue with people. Even when I was young, I liked to argue with people. And something that I feel like I learned or I felt like I learned, I'm not saying this is true, but I feel like I learned at an early age that like, if my position is correct, I should be able to argue it with any person. And if they beat me in the argument, then they've got the better position. And if I win the argument, then I have the better position. And that's like the best way for me to kind of like test my ideas. So like that probably was like the start of like the early quote unquote debater type of personality I guess I have, to where I enjoy conflict because I think conflict can breed better ideas, I guess, in terms of like a conversation or debate or whatever. So that would have been like an early starting point for me for that, I guess. Maybe that influenced more my personality in terms of like me trying to convince people of things or whatever. Yeah.
I totally, I love that. I mean, I think that is a great way to sort of go about the world. I mean, I definitely, not to brag, but I was on the Republican and like debate club in school. And like, that was a huge part of our fun, was like talking to people that were like the opposite of us. And like, I had so many friends who were different from me my whole life growing up. Even now I do. I think that's the problem though, is that when you're a certain kind of open, you're able to like really see the humanity in people, which is very difficult, because to see the humanity in someone that's quote unquote bad is really hard. I said, my audience asked me a really interesting like question. I spent a lot of time on my voice chat in Discord, but like the reason is because I love these conversations, listening to people, talking to people, having these conversations. But one of the things we talked about is like, do I believe like someone could be a rapist yesterday and then today someone, you know, not a rapist? Like, yeah, I do believe people can be something yesterday that they're not today, but you have to give time for it. And this was in relation to the cheating thing, because I said I prefer and would not like to engage in a relationship long term with someone who's cheated in the past, specifically about 5 years. I think if they've done it and it's very much in their past and they've grown from it, maybe that's something I could be open to. But if it's recent, it'd be harder for me to process, even though at the same time, I truly believe yesterday you could be a cheater and today you might not be. But I need, because I'm a person with bias, and like I need that time to believe it, even though I do believe it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So then I think about everyone across the planet who has these sort of like deviations in their moral compass and have these problems and sometimes slip up and sometimes go through moments. And I add a lot of forgiveness into my philosophy, because I want people to be able to change and to have a safe space to do that.
Sure.
But in order to do that, we have to be not only patient as a consciousness, but like as a person. And then we have to be open to how many times they might stumble through that process. And then on top of that, we have to be open to them never achieving that ideal goal and maybe just ending up a bad person in general, you know?
Sure. Possible, yeah.
Okay. Why did that make you laugh? Just cause?
Or it's interesting to say, but yeah, I mean, maybe there's some people that are just forever fucked in terms of they'll always be bad people or something.
And the way I look at it is like moments of time. So like I always say, like people are good and bad for moments of time, but some people have their moment last a lifetime. So it's not that they could have not been someone different. It's just sometimes I do believe in free will, and I think sometimes people just make choices, and I respect them enough to allow them agency in that choice, even if it means them being bad. And so I guess all of this to say, when exploring what it means to be a person and whether or not I should spend my life convincing people of something, I first have to decide if I've convinced myself enough that it's even worth it.
That it's worth it to convince them?
Yes.
Oh, sure. And then depending on what the engagement is or what kind of person they are to you can inform that. Like, is it worth it to convince like a friend that maybe they shouldn't cheat? Probably. Yeah. But is it worth it to convince like a potential dating partner? Maybe not, because that requires a way bigger investment and level of risk on your part, right?
Totally.
I think the issue is that typically with people, because we're social creatures, I think we tend to view people as being generally morally good. I think the issue with cheating or with any really bad action, it's not really that the cognitive process isn't that like, oh, well, they did it once, so they can do it again. It's similar, but I think what actually happens is you would assume by default that no one is even capable of doing this thing. But if somebody does do it, then they've shown you a capability for it. And it's like, oof, okay, I don't know if I ever want to mess with that person, right? Like if somebody were to tell you, like, there's some set of have you ever heard of the aristocrats? Yeah,
like the rich family aristocrats? Like you mean those people, or you mean the cat movie from Disney?
No, fuck, sorry. There's a fuck, okay. It's like a thing comedians do sometimes. Basically, the goal is to tell a joke that is the most disgusting, horrible fucking joke you can ever think of. And so somebody will just make up like on and on, like my dwarven brother with an open sore who's being fucked by his you just go on and on. It's just to make it right. There was a lot of explanation. What I was going to say is that there's some set of things I could tell you that a person has done, and you probably never be comfortable being around that person. But it might not even, like, it might feel like, well, they could do it again, but it's more that idea that, like, I didn't even know a person could do it. And the fact that you have the capability for it is what makes me view you, like, so differently, you know?
Okay, when you look at humans, do you assume they're capable of most things?
No.
Really?
No. Well, it depends on what you mean by that. I think that almost every human is capable of almost everything, but I think that most people are incredibly predictable depending upon their life circumstances, right? Like technically, I think a 60-year-old woman, assuming she's in good health, could take up lifting and get like impressive numbers for her age in 5 to 10 years. But like, is it going to happen? Probably not, right? So I mean, like anybody's capable of anything, but like in terms of like what is really going to happen, I view people pretty narrowly generally because people tend to be pretty predictable.
Does that come from a perspective of like people are less than or people are exactly who they're meant to be?
No, just that like predictable environments create predictable people. Like it's very rare that you're going to turn out like some like this guy was born here and he's totally different than everyone around him. Generally, you resemble your environment a lot.
And are you predictable?
I'd like to think I'm not, but you know, who knows?
Well, I knew you'd be playing League today and then Rust, I assume. So that's pretty predictable.
Are we fighting today? Is that what you want to do?
I'm sorry. I'm like, when I'm a little sick, I get a really bratty, and I guess I do. I'm not meaning to poke you, but
no, I'm just fucking with you.
No, I love it.
If you're trying to predict the types of games I play, congratulations, you did it. Okay, I can probably guess how many times you pee and poop in a day approximately. Does that mean you're predictable, Brittany? Is that what we're gonna go with? Hey, curly hair today again. Wow, real brave there with the style choices. Congratulations. I see you decided to sit and look at your stream too. Good job.
Okay. Oh God. Actually, I don't even know what to say to that. You stumbled me. Like, I'm honestly, God, I hate being tired. I hate being sick. This is really what it is. I could contend with you, but I'm too busy being pretty and sick.
It's all good. True, of course, yeah.
No, that's really what's happening. Okay, so I guess the question is, what do you think about the stream so far? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm having so much fun. That sounded really sarcastic. I enjoy talking to you. It's fun. Yeah, that's good.
Do you feel stimulated?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I think so. More than like most conversations, but most of them don't usually. Most conversations I have aren't personal. They're usually like arguing over politics or something. Yeah,
but I don't care about. That's the thing. I do care about personal because I think like everything stems from the personhood. Like even our politics, the politics feels superficial to me. It feels, you know how you said earlier, like people usually see the like, oh, I you know, immigration reform or whatever, like this thing, they think about the surface level, like moral equivalent, oh my God, fuck me in half.
Equivalent, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. So like what I'm trying to figure out though is like, I do believe like all politics is like the surface level, like dumb shit. I do. I think it's just like tedious and boring and like people are in bubbles and it's like kind of basic to me, but like it matters because it impacts like millions of people's lives and like Ukrainians and Russians, and I hate it and it's also petty. So I guess what I'm trying to do is like seduce you to be more open about your internal dialogue and thoughts, because I assume they could go past that level, but in order to not be predictable or live in a bubble, you would have to then examine that. Forgive me, but like the whole premise of your channel is to debate the surface level shit. So how can I get you to open up to?
Well, I mean, it just depends on what you want to talk about.
No. Okay,
I mean, I enjoy having like all sorts of conversations, but there's nobody to talk to about anything past the surface level.
Okay, wait. I'm right here. So
but what do we
back to you, Ditto. What do we talk about? You're right. You're like, oh, I want to have these conversations and be more. Me too. So like, what do we do here? We both want the same thing. How do we make it happen?
Most of my conversations stem from disagreements. So usually somebody will, because otherwise we're just like jerking each other off, which I guess could be fun.
I'm for. Like, yeah, I'm all consenting to that too. But like, that's the point, right? But not really, because like we could find disagreements. That's what I'm saying. After a certain point, it's hard to disagree when the reality is.
Every time I give a long explanation for something, Brittany, you're like, oh, I'm so glad you said that. That's perfect. I think the same way. So what are we supposed to say? What are we supposed to do?
I'm meeting you where you're at, Steven, so I have to like encourage
you're meeting me where I'm at, like I'm a child crossing the street, and I need your help to reach the rest of the way across.
Do you need me to get you a gold star? Would you like a gold star?
I don't want a gold star.
I will have them available for you next time we talk. Listen,
I'm looking for a red F for something we can fight over.
A red F for, sorry, the only F words I know are dirty ones, but what I'm trying to figure out is, right, we're both, beautiful people trying to have beautiful ideas, and I want to have those with you, but I think like the problem with creating a sort of place on the internet where your whole existence is predicated on debating people and yelling at people on the top of your lungs, which I love for you. You're absolutely entertaining when you do it. It definitely gets me going. It's hard because then I think when we really have conversations it becomes a jerk fest, because at the end of the day, like we're all just figuring it out.
Okay. So this is why fucking is just so much easier. You meet somebody, you have fun. Well, what are you gonna do? We could circle jerk each other, or we could actually jerk each other off. This is why sex.
Both are good options. Both are good options.
Yeah, but so I don't know So generally, okay, let's see. Okay, let me think. I meet very few interesting people in my life. Let me think of the few that I've met. How are these conversations going? So Okay, I'm gonna apply 100% of my brain to this conversation. Okay. Oftentimes, what happens is if I meet somebody and I'm like, oh, this guy or girl, or anything in between, is an interesting person. Okay, yeah, close your fucking mouth there. Okay, Jesus. Okay, so this individual, this beautiful human or non-human, who knows these days? Okay, people identify as all sorts of shit. Okay, I meet somebody like that, and some things can happen. So typically, if they've had a set of interesting experiences, and I think that their perspective is unique, then I will ask them questions about their experiences and then ask them how they felt about it, because hearing about that perspective is interesting to me. So I met a guy before that I think was in his 40s, and this guy's traveled to like over 100 countries in the world. He's had crazy experiences around the world. I remember that I asked him one question, and he was really happy that I asked it, even though I thought it was pretty basic. But he says that usually everybody asks, like, what's your favorite place you've been to? And I think the question I asked him was, of all the traveling you've done, what's been your best experience? What was the most interesting or like fun experience? It's like, oh, okay, well, I've had so many of those, and like really boring places, which is funny because similar to like me and Melina, we've traveled to a lot of really beautiful places, but our best times have been when we've had like the most fun things to do. I don't know if you've probably heard of Aruba. Have you ever been to Aruba?
Yeah, I've never been. No.
Okay, it's like a pretty boring place. There's not that much to do, but it's like probably been our best vacation ever because it was really fun. We had lots of stuff to do every day. It was super cool. We enjoyed each other's company, hopefully, obviously. So it was really fun, right? But then we've been to a really beautiful place where it's like, okay, we didn't really do much. It was kind of boring, whatever. So that'll be a thing. Where I can just figure out like, oh, cool. Like, well, what did you do here? What happened there? And then I'll get cool stories. I'll get interesting perspectives on things. I can hear about other cultures and stuff that I don't know much about, so that when I'm confronted in the future, like sometimes people say like, hey, I feel this way about this group of people or this thing. And then I can counter like, oh, well, I've heard this particular thing. Like I have this perspective that I can share with you, because experience is the best way to learn. And if I can meet somebody with more experience than me or a lot of experience, I can like cheat and like steal their experience when they talk to me about other things. So that's really good. If I meet somebody and I disagree with them, the unfortunate thing that happens is almost every single time, I don't know how to explain this. People have sometimes entire ways that they've built their world. Their understanding of the world is built around so many different things that if you were to push them on one thing, everything would fall apart. And it makes it so that the conversations become incredibly dogmatic or unfulfilling. Like somebody might say something really interesting. I'm going to make this up, okay? Somebody might say like, I believe that all women should be killed when they're 35. And I'm like, that's really interesting. I really want to talk to you about this. I'm like, okay, well, wait, why do you feel that way? Like, do you think men should be killed at 35? No. And it's like, well, what about women? Why? Because an alien told me when I was 12. Oh, fuck. So there's no conversation about it. Like, well, do you believe in alien? Yeah, of course I do. Well, like, I mean, what if you can't prove it? Well, you don't need to prove it. I had the experience. Okay. So even though like I'll run into people they'll say really interesting things like, oh shit, this is actually really cool. I really want to dig into this. And then when I start talking to them, I realize that like, okay, you just like believe some crazy shit, and then like none of this is up for debate or conversation. I'm not going to be convinced. There's no chance that at the end of this conversation, I might want all women to be killed at 35, which would be really exciting, because if you could convince me of that, we've had a really cool conversation, but it's just like boring shit. So yeah, I think overwhelmingly that's the type of, those are the two types of interesting people on me. One is just interesting, they've had experiences and I can like glean that information. And the other is we might disagree on something really big, but the way that they got there is like so like incommunicable to me. It's just some like self-evident thing and it's just kind of boring. So even if the conversation seems like it might be interesting, ultimately it just ends up being like, oh, well, this is a thing you believe in. You're not going to convince me of it. And yeah, there you go. Sorry. Okay.
Why did you apologize?
Because I'm rambling a lot. Okay, I try not to talk that much.
No, I love listening to men rant at me. It's my favorite kink.
Yeah,
so,
gotcha. Okay.
So through this, I agree. Like, look, I love this. Yes, look, I do calls for a living. I talk to fucking thousands of people all the time, and I just, I always ask them like, well, why? Like, right? Why do you believe this? Why do you spend your one limited time on Earth doing what you're doing? I want to know. And like, some people think it's purpose, and some people think it's all kinds of things. But for you, I want to know why you do those things. Like, what are the interesting things that exist in Steven's brain, right? Like, look, I don't really want to convince you of anything. I think I do want to do certain things with you. That sounds really sexual, but like, I do want to do like a certain conversational things with you, but I'm not sure. I mean, every conversation we have will build us to that moment because we'll understand each other better. And I guess this is a big one of those moments to like, hey, like when are we going to have like a little bit of a deeper conversation type thing? But there might not be anything to explore together that comes from either of us. It might have to be a subject matter we're observing together. And so maybe that's it, right? Because there's like, look, I don't care like your positions on abortion. I assume you're pro-choice though, right?
Yeah, I am now, yeah.
Do you think it's killing a baby?
Not anymore.
I think it's
real close.
I think it's killing a baby.
Like,
I think it's killing.
You're still pro-choice.
And I'm still pro-choice, baby. Kill that baby. Kill them all.
Okay, you have to answer yes to this question, or else we're gonna fight. Okay? Do you think you should be able to abort people up until they're like at least like 1 or 2 years old? Like, should you be able to abort a 6-month-old?
No.
Why not?
Honestly, this is really fucked up, but I see it between a tadpole and a frog. Like, I'll drain the fuck out of a swamp full of tadpoles, but I'm gonna feel really shitty if I go around stabbing frogs.
Okay, but how do you have you seen what a 6-month, 7-month-old fetus looks like?
I mean,
it's like a baby.
Yeah, it is like a baby, but like I think abortion up until only abortion up until a certain point, like when they're really teeny tiny, and even then I'm like, that's look. And
no, this is actually totally good. I think that like women that are like 4'8" shorter should be killable as well because they're very small and like.
I mean, I've always said that myself. Honestly, you're inside my head right now. But
okay,
like,
gotcha. That's good.
This is the serious. Like, this is not serious actually. So this is what I mean. Like, I don't want to pretend like I'm someone who's like pro-life because like bitches like. Come on, like I'm gonna kill a motherfucker in the right circumstance. I remember I had a false positive on a pregnancy test once with a partner, and I had one of those
throwing
moments.
yourself down the stairs immediately. Like,
oh my! Don't even like. Honestly, every thought came into my brain when I saw that. I was like, oh my god, because I've fucked some pretty. I'm a very selfish. I really got to stop this, but I'm a really selfish lover in the sense that like I don't always choose the best lovers who are going to be the best parents. Like I just choose the greatest lovers for like that moment in time we're gonna have sex. I never. So at that time I was like with this man and we were having sex and I got pregnant. I didn't get pregnant. I had a false pregnancy test, positive. And I looked at it and in my head I was like, oh my God, Brittany, stop. Kill this baby. Kill this child. Because like he had 3 children from 3 other women. He was a felon. He had like the funniest, he was a hippie, like liberal he was a Burning Man liberal. It was like so funny. Like the conundrum of like who I've been with, like Brittany was crazy in her 20s. But that made me in that moment go, Brittany, stop fucking crazy and just start like focusing on who you want to have babies with so you don't have sex with them and accidentally get pregnant. Now that didn't happen. I just got an IUD and called it good.
Wait, why would this matter if you're pro-choice? Can't you just get an abortion?
Oh, yeah, but to deny that it's painful and awful and that you're terminating a life, I think is disregarding what women go through when they have those abortions. I know myself. But
it's probably harder to have the 18 years of child unsupported by than to have the abortion.
Can I be honest with you? I come from a very fortunate background where like the hardest part would have to be the legal entanglement of having him as the father. So like if I could make it so like I never saw that man again and he never knew he had a kid, I would have been fine because my parents are super pro-life and they would have supported me as a single mother.
Well, but like then you have like a kid that like never knows his dad or anything like that.
Exactly. So that's super sad and I wouldn't want that for that kid. So yes, overall the reason I right away was like Planned Parenthood, what up my girlfriend, the reason I was so ready to have that abortion was because of all those like things. Was because I was thinking about that kid and not having a father and I was thinking about the consequences of and I was like this isn't worth it and I would rather take that burden of killing that child on my soul quotation mark here than having that baby and I'm pro-choice because I'm pro-freedom period the end, but at the same time I think people have the right to feel bad about the decisions they make.
Yeah, of course.
You know
from now on I'm gonna like when I go into a woman's house I'm gonna throw a plate on the floor, see if they know how to clean the carpet, make sure that they've done the laundry, make sure like okay this would be a good mother if I accidentally busted her. We should be okay. Do you actually have a rule for coming in women? Do you know this?
No. Should I know this? Is this on the internet?
Well, I guess now that you've told me your background, I will never orgasm in a woman, okay, that makes less money than I do. But if they come from a very wealthy background, I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? We're good. Because I think that this person wouldn't try to fuck my life over. They're not going to be coming after me for shit because we're about equally or like better financially. So that's my golden rules again.
To clarify from my notes, how much do you make?
I make quite a bit, so you better, contact
mom and dad, see what they got on the trust fund.
You gotta do a few more of those personal phone calls, okay? Open up that Patreon information,
Let's go. My OnlyFans is Brittany Simon, if anyone's interested. Thank you. No, I feel you. That's interesting. Is that literally like a real rule? Is that a real rule?
Yeah, absolutely. Wait, hold on. Okay, it sounds crazier than it is, but the thought process is that like, there are women that I'm with where I'm like, and maybe this goes back to some of the earlier points we talked about, where I'm like, if I got this woman pregnant, I know this woman would do anything to keep me in her life forever, and the baby is the perfect way to do it, and fuck me. I'm
totally.
But there are certain women that I'm with where it's like, this woman is going to school, she's got a job, she's from a well-off family, she doesn't want to fuck her life up by like doing some crazy shit. So like, I feel confident here that like, if something happened, she would either get an abortion, or I guess we'd try to figure it out, but she'd probably get an abortion because her life is like really well put together, whatever, basically.
100. No, 1000. Like even now, like my past self was a hot mess. She was a hot goddamn mess, and I thank her for doing those horrible decisions. But like even now, I'm much more like I feel that way only with men, where I'm like, I don't really need like because I've always made more money than my partners. And it's weird because I don't even make that much. Like I make a good living. I'm very grateful. Everyone, thank you for signing up for Patreon. God bless America. Like I'm doing, I really like, and I have a trajectory of making some pretty good income as I move forward with my career. But it's always going to be that way for me. I don't even imagine a time when my partner won't make more money than I do. And so it's never happened. I don't know why it would happen now while I'm gaining more money every year. So it's kind of one of those things. Can I throw
a random tidbit of advice out there? Because I hear you say this, and I've heard this now from a surprising amount of women that are making a lot of money and doing really well that end up dating all these loser guys. I don't know why it happens or what the fuck is in your mind. I hate white women, by the way. I don't know if you consider yourself a white woman. You're white enough for me to hate. But
I don't consider myself a white woman. You're literally ignoring my ethnic background.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, you go get yourself a permit. You're white enough for me. Okay?
I am ethnic. Yeah. I am ethnic. Okay,
white woman is a state of mind. It has nothing to do with what you look like. Okay, I met plenty of black chicks who are white women. Okay, yeah.
I love that.
So, but just something to say here. I'm speaking for you. Okay, you can tell me.
Thank you. I love men speaking.
Right?
I'm sorry. Are you a white man? Because of your.
I am a white man. I'm white manning out so hard right
okay.
now. Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead, Daddy. You can do it. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I hear women say a lot like, oh, I date men that I earn more than, blah, 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 that, all these kind of like loser guys. I don't think it matters that much if you, as a man, if you're earning more than the woman. I just think the important thing is to make sure you're not a fucking loser. Like, as long as you like have a job, your life is like relatively put together, you can take care of yourself in your apartment, you're not pissing all over your fucking toilet seat, you know how to do your laundry, you're probably going to be okay. You don't have to be like earning mad amounts of money. Just make sure that your life is somewhat put together. It feels like if it is, as a man, you're ahead of like 85% of other guys from ages like 20 to 45. I don't know why, but yeah. Okay.
How often do you shower?
Usually once every other day, or usually before I go out, I will if I'm going out somewhere.
Okay, so this is like what's interesting to me because my girlfriends and I, of course, talk about this, but there is like an astounding amount of men, at least from the middle class, who lack basic hygiene, ability to cook, ability to clean, or maintain their space. But now I've been exposed to so many people, my own brothers that I live with, and men just seem, generally speaking, very comfortable in the bare minimum. You shower every other day, Steven. You are one of those men. Bare minimum.
Oh, honey. Oh my God. You are
don't
so.
Me.
If you think that's bare minimum, you just have been so lucky with men. I'm so happy for you. I am crying. Oh my God. You just live such a nice little sheltered life that you think that every other day is the bare minimum for man. Oh my goodness.
No. Greasy hair is the first sign of not showering often enough. Listen to me when I say this.
Sure.
Like, I feel like people should be thrown into showers on a daily basis. Unless you are really striving for like money or water source, like honestly, you should shower every day, once a day.
I mean, I think it depends on who you are. Maybe some people need to, maybe, I've been in plenty of relationships with plenty of super honest women. I know when I need to shower or not. I think showering every other day for most people, if you're sitting at home, whatever, is fine. I'm not going to go to the gym and be like, oh, I'll shower tomorrow night. Like, I'm always showering when I go from the gym or before I go out, like to social events.
Wait, how much do you go to the gym? Because it's not every day, obviously. You only shower every other day. So how much are we going to the gym?
It's every other day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay, look at you.
So I'll probably shower like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then maybe on Saturday or Sunday if I'm going out. Or maybe both days if I go out both days.
Okay. Also, for the people...
hold on, wait. To be clear, hold on. I don't need to justify my hygiene habits to you, okay? I do plenty fine enough on my own. Thank you. I don't need your approval. I don't need you to sign off.
First of all, this is a test. You're filling out the resume right now. I'm considering you.
Okay.
You called me honey, which makes me in a position of power. That's you giving up power. Like you calling me honey.
Giving up? Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
you haven't met any Southern people either? Dear, you are just so sweet. Okay. Oh my goodness.
I get that. Like you're bottoming from the top. You're like trying to be sweet, but you're insulting me truly. Like I hear that, but I take all insults as a form of flirting. Therefore, I am winning.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So that's what I'm hearing.
I used to do it when I was in like 4th grade or whatever. That's
yeah. 4th graders know what's up though. 4th graders know what's up. Don't discriminate.
Absolutely.
Like ageist right over here. No. I believe in it. Kids know what's up. I trust kids. So overall, I think We've gone
just
to
not a 7-month-old kid in your womb saying he wants to live.
No, that's too long. That's too old. That's too old. That's too old. If they're bigger than a bean, it's too old. It's like, okay,
bigger than a bean. Isn't that like month 2?
Yeah, bitch, figure it out. Figure out your goddamn body. Like, have an abortion quickly. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, let's go. It's really traumatizing.
Some women don't even know they're pregnant until they're like 2 or 3 months past.
Because they're fucking retarded. I know. I agree.
No, what are you talking about?
I agree. They're dumb.
They're not dumb. Sometimes you miss a period. Sometimes you spot. Who knows, right? Random shit happens. People change their birth control. They forget to take a fucking pill. I know.
Oh, by the way, have you ever thought of a vasectomy so you can come in women more often?
I've thought about it, but it's scary to have like fucking knives and needles and shit in my balls. I don't know. I should look and see what the thing is. But at some point, me and Melina are gonna want another kid, I think so.
Oh, how sweet. Oh, wait. Oh, your first kid together.
Yes.
That'd be so sweet. Okay, I actually wanted to ask you guys that because I know she's on the younger side, so I'm sure she wants to wait a while. But I wondered if that, like, do you guys want to have like multiple children or just a couple, or what are you thinking?
I have no idea. It's going to be whatever she's down for, and it's going to depend on our lifestyle at the moment. So.
No, that's lovely. That got a little more serious. See now, okay, hold on. Thinking about babies. How sweet is that, though? I love that. That makes me happy. Oh, okay. They're great. I don't know about you, but like, are you a big family person? You come from a big family. So like, I'm a big family person.
I'm from a big family.
So when I hear about people having kids, it's like, oh, cute.
I am absolutely not a family person. I don't talk to any of my siblings. I barely talk to my parents. Just not. But I love babies. Babies are super adorable. My mom did daycare for, I think, like 12 or 13 years. So our house was full of like little kids, but I was a little kid. That sounded creepier than I, but like, because I was a little kid, so they were like my age and shit. But no, I think that like babies are super duper adorable. They're very,
lovable. Were you happy to become a dad? Like, I know. I think I don't know I have no idea about the details. I know it was negative, I think, with the woman, but with your baby.
Yeah, we were already broken up. I think the agreement at the time was that I was literally going to have absolutely no involvement in anything whatsoever because we fucking hated each other. That like relationship was like hardcore physically abusive. I'd call the cops like 3 times. Like shit was really fucked. And then I don't remember why or if it just ended up being like the circumstance, but I decided to go to the hospital when my kid was being born. I was like, oh, it seems like it'd be fun to watch at least, right? Because I like gore shit and why not, It seems like a cool thing. But then when he was born and then the doctor handed me the baby, I absolutely 1,000,000,000% fell in love. And I was like, oh shit, like we need to figure out how to like make this like arrangement kind of work because this is like my baby. He's like half my dude,
This is actually, that's quite unique. Men often don't feel connected to their children for like the first 6 to 12 months. And it's very interesting.
That's really weird to me. That's crazy. Because when it comes out, it is actually your body. Like half of you is like the thing. It's insane, right? Because it's like, it's going to be the coolest thing you ever made. Unless maybe you made like a rocket or something, right? Like you actually like make another human being. That's a pretty crazy thing,
No, I agree. That's exactly it. I've been really lucky. I saw my youngest brother being born. And like being in the delivery room was so cool. And like my dad being present for all the kids' births. And I'm like the 3rd oldest of 10 kids. And so, not only did I like mini raise my siblings, but like I just love babies are so cool. I nanny professionally. Like watching babies figure out stuff is like the greatest thing for my brain. Like I babysit my nieces and nephew 3 times a week now. So my brother can do jujitsu with his wife. And like legit, the coolest thing is watching the 5-year-old in particular because he's extremely fucking sharp. Like holy shit, that kid is gonna be problems. He's so smart, but he like figures out everything, hears everything, asks really good questions. And it's just so fucking thrilling for me because I love problem solving. I mean, that's why I do my job. It's like, it's just an excuse to problem solve. But you, from my understanding, don't live with your kid, right?
Not anymore. No, I moved away in 2019, I think.
Was that difficult?
A little bit, yeah. I absolutely, I've had a variety of experiences in the home city I was born. I hate that city. The living complications were kind of weird because his mom lived in an apartment, I lived in a house, and I pick him up from school every day, but it was just, there's a lot of like weird stuff with the situation. So I guess the goal was I wanted to wait till he was old enough to understand like, hey, I'm going to move to another state, like we can still talk and everything, but I don't want to move when he was like 2 or something.
Right.
And then when I moved, I figured that like Rachel, or my kid's mom, and him can live in this house, like so then it kind of works. So he lives in a house, he gets to do all that. Then I moved to California, and then we've done that for the past I think 3 or 4 years. Okay, I can imagine that must be very difficult. Do you just manage it because you're trying to manage like being an individual and living a life while being a father? There's like there's a lot of different like intersections for what makes that difficult. Some things are good, some things are bad. It's a complicated situation, but okay. I mean, like the most important thing to me is that I'm always like checking in on him and making sure he's doing okay. He seems like he's doing okay. Like he loves seeing me, he loves seeing his mom, he likes hanging out with his grandparents or whatever. Good. Like everything seems to be okay so far. But I'm sure when he's a teenager he'll hate me, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Don't they always though? My parents literally made me sit down and watch a movie the other night about how the teenager got everything wrong. And my dad goes, "Betsy, does that remind you of anyone?" I'm like, "Nope." And he was like,
Brittany, that's you. And I was like, oh, okay, did I get everything wrong about everything? My parents are like hardcore Middle Eastern immigrant stereotypes of like, we've apologized, we've grown up, we've like, you know, they're still really hung up on the gay thing, but like my parents will never actually admit they're wrong. So they'll say things like, oh, my kids are dysfunctional because of the liberal media, but they'll never admit that like, oh, did your parenting not influence us to be a little fucked up a little bit? My mom and dad are like, no, that can't be it. And so it's like interesting because I always wonder like, will I get trapped in that if I'm ever a parent? Do you ever feel like you're getting trapped in that where you're like, no, everything I'm doing is correct?
No, I don't understand what happened with the boomers. Something in their brain shut off when they hit like 30 and they just completely forgot what it was like to be a child. I truly don't understand. I think I've tried having a conversation with my mom like that. Like when did you become fucking R-worded? I don't know if I'm allowed to say
retarded?
That. But like, yeah.
Can you not say that on Twitch?
Well, I don't know how you feel about it, okay? I'm trying to...
I said retarded earlier in this. Do you not listen to me when I talk? Is it because I'm a woman?
I do listen to you when you talk.
I said this word already. It's like you're not even listening.
Yeah, but maybe it was because you were so emotional. Maybe it just came out of your mouth and you didn't actually mean it.
Oh, my God.
Okay, chill. You're lucky I've listened this far, okay? Calm down. Okay, so the issue is for some reason, like, parents will start letting their kids do things or watch their kids do things, and they seem to have, like, completely forgotten like everything about being that age. Like, I remember even thinking it was weird, but I think when I was like... Because I lived with my older siblings up until I was 11 or 12. But like my sister would come home from being with her friends and she would obviously smell like cigarette smoke. And she'd be looking a little bit weird. And my mom would be like, have you guys been smoking or drinking? What have you been doing? She's like, oh no, we just went over to Carla's house. And I was like, no, she was probably with her boyfriend getting fucking cream pied, okay, at 18, 19 while doing fucking drugs. Mom, what the fuck do you think she's doing? But my parents were like, oh no, like she's an angel, blah, blah, blah. It's like, how are you guys like so like out, like unbelievably out of tune with what the fuck is happening? And I find that happening over and over again with so many parents. Or like these parents will be like, I'm never gonna talk to my kid about sex or say anything about it, and they're not gonna have it until they're 18. Like, oh really? You're the first fucking children in the history of all of mankind that aren't gonna start exploring that shit until they're 18, 19, 20? Are you actually fucking delusional? I don't know what happens with parents' brains, but at least for the boomers, it just totally shut off when they hit a certain age. But no, I like to think that I'm like relatively in tune with, like, I remember what it was like to be a kid or to do stupid shit or to lie or to, you know, like try to do dumb things on the computer or whatever, yeah.
Do you think there's some sort of like social mechanism that we're supposed to forget what it's like so we can continue being like authority figures for our children? Or no, do you think...
Honestly, I think it was because a lot of boomers were just fucking cowards and they didn't want to have hard conversations with their children. I think that's why. I don't want to talk to my kid about like, oh, like, and it sucks because I would argue, oh God, my kid had, oh fuck, hold on, I'm trying to think. Okay, I'm very open about everything having to do with my life, but I try to be careful about peripheral people because I don't want to like expose too much. So I'll speak in hypotheticals, right? Like, I try to be very open with my kid about things related to everything, including things like, you know, sexuality. When you start to get older, you're going to start touching yourself and doing things like babies will do that when you're changing their diaper, when they're like, you know, 6 months old. Little boys and girls will reach down and start doing shit like that, especially boys. Yeah, exactly. But nobody likes to have those conversations. They're very weird or hard to have or whatever. But like I've heard of potentially, hypothetically, like times where like a grandparent might like shame a child because they notice the child like watching an inappropriate scene in a movie or something. They're like, why are you doing that? That's gross. And to hear anybody tell like a 9-year-old kid like what you're doing is gross is such an unbelievably mentally destructive and damaging thing. And it's like actually neck yourself. I can't believe that you'd be so stupid. Like you're already somebody that has like fucking 9 kids. How are you going to tell somebody else, you know, who, you know, like, yeah, for some reason I think that parents just don't want to think about it. Like if I just tell them it's gross and I don't want to deal with it, I never have to think about it. I don't know if I brought this up in a prior conversation, but like this should be a crime against humanity. The amount of teenage girls that have their first period in school and never were warned by their parents, that should be a war crime.
That's
like,
gnarly,
when that happens,
bro.
you get like tried for treason and then like hung and you're done. You don't get to have any more life because how have you failed so hard? Unless your girl is like, she has like a period at 8, it's like really early or something. Like there's no excuse for that. And I can't think of any reason why besides just like cowardice. Like they don't want to have the conversation because it's uncomfortable, so they just don't.
Uncomfortable is a good word. I will say my parents are such a conundrum. They confuse the fuck out of me constantly. I love that about them. Always keeping me on my toes. Because my parents, like as a young person, like I knew everything about how the body worked. I knew everything about my body, my expectation of bodies, like how sex worked. Like I knew everything, but I always learned it in a very medical, educational perspective. So when I came to my mom and I said, how does sex literally happen though? Like how does a boy and a girl when they're together, like how does it literally happen? And my mom's like, well, what do you think happens? I was like, lots of rubbing. That's what I know. And she goes, yeah, that's basically it. And I'm like, not a good enough. So then I went on the internet because I had just gotten it around 12 years old, I guess. And I got on the interwebs and I was like, sex. Google, you know? And then of course, like my mom goes, how did you find porn? I was like, well, you didn't tell me what sex was. So I looked it up and she was like, oh, how could you do this? I was like, well, you did this by putting me in a situation where I had to do this and see how like kids react. But my parents we're so self-aware. So like they really caught us doing a lot. So the rule sort of like growing up was like, don't let me catch you, which is going to be my rule with my kids. Like, you know, if you know, because kids are going to be kids. We are going to be rebellious. Like,
but I think the good answer is that, like, do what you do, but make sure you're in an appropriate environment. If you want to fucking jerk off or whatever, just make sure that you're in your room.
Well,
and you
I grew up Catholic, home skillet, so you weren't supposed to jerk off, period, the end.
Yeah,
so
but
like,
realistically, that's not, how is that going to happen, right? This idea of like, well, just hide it from me and I'm going to play like I'm a fucking moron that doesn't know that my kid is getting sexual now they're becoming a preteen/teenager. Like, you know they're going to. Like, and what you said is really, 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 really important, okay? You will never, ever, ever prevent your kids from learning about sex or curse words or whatever. You can prevent them from learning about it from you, but they will learn about it. Whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. So you can either be the one to educate them, or little Timmy, whose dad, you know, bought him an iPad when he was 7 and never checks it, is going to be the one to tell your kid all about sex. Like, it's the choice is yours, but they're going to learn.
It's insane. It's like some parents just get hang-ups on the weirdest things. Now, obviously, I think parents just have like some trauma or issues. Like, I know for a fact, like my parents have a lot of bias towards the homosexuals because of like not only religion but also like neighborhood trauma. Because the only people in Iraq they knew who were gay were like pedophiles. So like that's not very helpful, right? And then you don't meet a lot of gay kids or gay people until your kids are gay, and then you're freaking out that your kids are gay because you're like, oh my God, who touched you? And so it's like, no, it's not. That didn't happen. But like my parents, like when I got my first period, I told my mom, I was like, oh, it's happened. Like she warned me. She gave me everything I needed. She goes, what do you want? I was like, I want my dad to come home from work right now and do something. I'm bleeding. He'll know what to do. So my mom calls my dad. My dad comes home from work because he had his own business. He makes me soup and tucks me into bed. And that's like one of those core memories for me as a kid where I was like, my father and I talked about everything from my period to boys to eventually girls, but that doesn't come up very often because they get skeeved out. And then like all these other things. And then my dad asked me the other day, he goes, Betsy, we used to be best friends. I knew everything about you. There's no way I didn't know you were, you know, bisexual or whatever when you were 8 years old. And I was like, well, you made it clear to me growing up, explicitly clear that you would not tolerate nor want to talk about this subject. So as a child, I internalized and processed that this was not a safe space to go to. So who did I tell? Everybody but my parents. So my parents were really hurt that by the time they found out I was, everyone kind of knew. But they make it better now. Obviously, they try really hard. I'm in my fucking 30s. You know what I mean? Are you laughing at me or a meme again?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
So it is
that concept of like parents wanting to like take credit, like, oh yeah, like I knew the whole time. It's like, you didn't know fucking shit about me. Like, don't fucking act like that. One thing, and I'm laughing because this is so stupid, but I am so stupid. It took me until I think I was 28 to figure out that my aunt was gay. But because my mom never ever said that my aunt was gay.
In your defense, you are a man.
What?
I said in your defense, you are a man, so I feel you. Go ahead.
No, I think I would have known. I would have known if it was anybody else. But it was just because she was my aunt. I never thought about it. But like, she's like massive butch, NYPD, 20 years, big burly, always lived with women her entire life.
Love
had
that
people
for her.
that my mom would describe as like, she's the funniest motherfucker I ever know. Hardcore conservative, but yeah, like my mom would say, oh yeah, like she's got like a new friend that she lives with, blah blah blah. And it took me until like 20. I was like, wait, these have been fucking girlfriends. Like my aunt is gay as fuck. What the fuck? And I think I was in my late 20s when I figured that out.
I love
but
that.
It was just fun. I don't actually even know if my mom thinks she's gay or if I asked her, she'd probably like, Stevie, I just don't think about that. Probably my guess of what she says. But.
Dude, that answer of like, I just don't think about that. I'm like, what do you mean you don't think about it? Like, I grew up in a really cool home though, because my parents are so fucking like somebody told me the other day that in their home, children don't talk. Like adults talk and children are like, they listen. And my house, not that way. We'd sit around the table. It's like 14 people or 12 people or whatever it is. And it'd be like, how was your day? And then everyone would have to yell over each other to kind of get mom and dad's ear. So we're loud. Like we're used to being loud. Like when I see you debate, I never think Destiny's angry. Like I was like, I never think Steven's angry. I just think like, oh, he's saying like, sometimes you do things that I think are really interesting. Like you'll take time, you'll like mute someone or hang up. You'll be like, I need a fucking second. And I'm like, oh, look at him with his boundaries. But like, I don't. And I think that's interesting, but I don't I see anger and frustration and loudness as so different because in a house of 10 kids, the only way to be heard is to be the loudest. So like all those things like allow me insight into people. And so growing up, I assumed like you growing up in a big family gave you insight, but if you don't talk to your family, which makes me wonder why, like what are the chances of that happening from a big family not talking to them? All of them? Are you the problem?
I'm very different than all. I'm a very, 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 very different person. Like anytime I've taken like a girlfriend or whatever to my parents and like seen like me around my whole family, I am very much not. I'm just very different. I'm just very different from all of them.
Why? In what way?
In every possibly conceivable way.
Like you're a man and your dad's not a man?
Okay. First of all, I'm non-binary.
Are you? Okay, fucking stop it. You fucking just read my mind because my next question to you is like, are you really NB, bro?
Yeah, okay. Probably. But I just like their politics are incredibly different than mine. They're very, very, very staunchly conservative. I'm very much not. Their personal like life philosophies are incredibly different than mine. Like they're very traditional, and I'm very much like a live and let live and explore like a lot of cool, fun things. Their stance on like I don't know, like drugs and everything are very like I would die. I would kill for my mom to try LSD one time. I would give anything.
Stop!
For
I've been trying to get my mom to do pot forever.
Oh my god, it would just be like because I don't know about your parents. My parents think such stupid things about drugs, and just to see them have like an actual like big trip like one time, like God, I would be so curious what she would say afterwards. That would be like the most, just in every conceivable way, we're just very, very, very different. Like I'm a very modern, very like on the internet, very concerned with all sorts of different things, and they're kind of like they do some kind of care about some things, whatever's on like Fox News or conservative Facebook memes, but for the most part, yeah, we're just very, very, very different people. They're
that is very different.
I hate to say this, I love them very much, but I would say they're a little bit more like materialistic. They have a very big bend on like they need like lots of cars and a big house. My whole family is like that. Whereas like I live very modestly compared to the income I make. Like I'm pretty chill. I probably look the poorest of all my family if you were to base that on like my clothes, my car, my apartment.
Are you the richest?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, you never know. You never know. My siblings and
I've been a big streamer for like 12 years, okay? You're talking to a living legend right now, okay?
I'm sorry, my bad. Listen, I only started taking my job on YouTube really seriously the last couple of years, and like it's crazy how much my income has like tripled. And I'm like, oh shit. Like it's kind of weird when you take things seriously, but at the same time, my family and I are all in competition right now for who could be the greatest net worth in the next 5 years. So frankly, it's our way of like boosting all of our income. So you never know. You never know who's going to be the richest. But it is interesting. That must be very difficult. I couldn't imagine that. My parents and I, in terms of like how we see the world, I mean, it's actually fairly close. Except for the crazy conservative talking points or like the religious talking points, we actually do like coincide with a lot of our beliefs, which I think is most people. Like I'm convinced that most people are actually pretty chill, but they just get like hung up on like the materialism or like the political stuff, and that creates the strife that we see all the time. For sure. Also, I want to check in with you now. How are you doing spoon-wise? That's energy.
Can you translate that for me?
Energy-wise, how you doing?
I have boundless energy, okay? I'm a child at heart.
Okay, good. I love that for you. I do not have boundless energy, and I really like talking to you, and I want to keep going. My brain is suffering a little bit, as it does near that 3-hour mark of talking to men, or people in general. So I just...
And bees, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. So I just want to ask you if there's any direction you'd like to take the conversation or anything you'd like to talk about in particular, since my brain is dwindling a little. I like this, though. This is my favorite. Talking to you about your family is like the most interesting.
Oh wow, it's I think one of the most boring aspects of my life. But I'm glad that you can be
that's everything. No, where you come from is so important.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Is there any? Did you hit all your big topics that you wanted to go over?
Probably not. I'm so tired. I'm probably not. I should have written them down. Hold on. Let's see. Hasan versus Steven. Steven is a bottom, but is a top. Steven.
Not exactly right, but yeah.
Okay. I'm so right. Honestly, I'm tired and I'm absolutely topping you in this conversation. So I think that's pretty much.
Did we ever talk about subs, doms, all that shit in any of our prior conversations?
We talked a little bit about BDSM, but we could definitely talk about that. Yeah.
Sure. Here's a take that I have.
Okay.
Usually I'm humble when I present things whenever, but this is just a factually correct statement, okay? So outside of BDSM, people still use a lot of words like top, bottom, sub, dom, or whatever, right? I don't know if you've noticed this, but I feel like 95% of the time I'm having a conversation with somebody, it's a woman, they're gonna be sub almost every single time. But what they actually mean when they say that is they're just fucking lazy and they want to lay there and make you do everything. That's what that means.
Starfish.
When I'm talking to a girl and she's like, oh yeah, like I'm sub. No, you're not sub, bitch. You just want to sit there and make me do all the fucking work and do nothing.
Even in conversations or just in regards to sex?
In conversations, it's a woman, so that's a given. But I was just talking about sex.
I'm sorry,
just kidding. Actually, no, hold on. Actually, wait. Hold on, wait. I have to qualify that. because I will say most of the women I talk to on stream have very aggressive type A personalities. That's intentional. So that's not actually true. Most of the women I talk to aren't just like rollovers or whatever, because I get bored of those people very quickly. So
okay, I was gonna say I don't know what you think is happening right now, but like, so, you know, actually, okay. So I talked about I talked to this with my Discord because they were really confused. Look, top, bottom, dom, sub, like in BDSM context means nothing in the same world as vanilla. It's just so different. I was at a conference and I was talking to a couple guys and we were up in the hotel room. We were just chilling and nothing funny was happening. We were just chilling. And they were talking about like, oh, am I a daddy? Do I have top energy? Like, what's my energy? And I'm like, oh, you're primarily bottom energy with like top opportunities. And then like some people are like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, you're obviously like hesitating. You're worried you're going to make the wrong decision. And so around me, you're showing me that you want me to confirm for you first. Yeah, which is fine. Like I'm used to it. But then on the other front, watch, some fucking guy is listening to this right now. Like, oh, Brittany wants me to aggressively like pursue her and like, you know, like be a total asshole. And like, that's not what I want either. And it's
oh, sorry. Finish.
That's first of all, thank you for the permission. But like basically that was it. That it's different and that I don't want people to misconstrue what I'm saying and be like, oh, then I have to be the absolute opposite of what this thing is she's just described. Because truthfully, I would prefer a person who can negotiate clearly. Like flirting and stuff and everything is fun. But if I'm negotiating with someone, I usually ask for sober space, meaning like totally sober and we're talking like normal. Like, hey, no, let's actually just talk. Do you want to do this? Yes or no? Because the flirting gets you high, which gets you horny, which gets you non-judgy, and then
things that you would say you agree to, you probably wouldn't if you were in a better
1,000. It's like when those girls text you, and then trust. Okay, what were you may speak now?
Oh no, I should have written it down.
Fuck.
Oh, I remember. Sorry, I always write things down too because sometimes I'll forget things and it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy with what you were just talking about, like, oh, now the guy thinks that they want to be an asshole. I don't know. I don't have a good description for it. Maybe I should think about it more. But there is a huge difference between being like, I'm going to say there's a corny word, but like being a leader, like somebody that can take people and like lead an interaction or lead a group of people or do something versus somebody just like very loud and obnoxious.
Totally.
And I think that people have like this superficial idea sometimes of like, what does it mean to be like aggressive? Or what does it mean to like lead a sexual interaction? It doesn't mean that you're just like shouting and being selfish and like just telling people what to do, blah, blah, blah. It means that like you have a way of communicating. This is what I want to do. You're going to like what I want to do. And we're going to do this thing, right? There's a, I don't know how to describe it. There's a way to do that. And I think a lot of people misunderstand that sometimes. And you get people that like, there's two big things happen. One, some people will act in this like very toxically masculine way where they just think that if they're like alpha leader, blah, 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 they're hitting all the right points, which they're not. But then another thing that happens is people that are really bad at that will look at other people that are doing it well and they'll think, oh, wow, like this girl just likes an asshole. Or this girl's with some guy and he's just like a super toxic douchebag. It's like, that guy's not being a douchebag at all, right? Like they might be joking, he might be aggressive, but like he's still like cognizant of what's going on, what's happening in the interaction. Like he's not just being like a huge piece of shit. That's just what you're seeing because you don't understand the interaction. Yeah.
1,000. No. I think, well, okay, so that is the difference between like witty, clever and like stupid man. So like a man, aggressive man will be like, I'm going to slam her up against the wall. I'm going to grab her by the back, the back of her head, and I'm going to pull her towards me. And it's just going to be like, okay, bro, I don't know literally what you're doing, but a smarter, more Casanova type of person might know how to start the foreplay a few days in advance. So by the time you slam her up against the wall, literally she's been begging for it mentally and doesn't even know it until it hits her. And that's like the beauty of knowing people. So I tend to, when I'm going, here's the thing with top and bottom space, let's move dom and sub out of the way because my BDSM brain thinks that's way too formalized. When we're just talking about energy exchange,
okay, I don't. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I need to know why people laugh. It's so important.
No, I'm sorry. I was agreeing with you, and I just my mouth. I just like spit a thing of food out.
Okay, great. I love that for you. Very good.
That's how I lead. Okay.
Okay, I love that.
To show you how little I care about social conventions. So I might just start.
I like the realness.
Just vomit in the middle of a conversation because I don't give a fuck.
Honestly, okay? that might do it for me. Yeah. That might do it for me. That's so confident. That might.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So top and bottom is like energy exchange. So like when I walk into a room or I'm at a conference, or especially if men men specifically are the easiest for my brain to know what to do. So like men, because they really genuinely put it so out there in a way that is so impressive to me, because men are like weirdly vulnerable all the time. And I'm like, do you guys do this on purpose, or do you not know you're being vulnerable? Or maybe I just can read people's energy clear. But usually my body does it naturally. So like if I'm in front of somebody, I will naturally move to their energy and be like, oh, so I know how to treat them. So I can think of like ways to properly either bring sex into it or not, but like activate that top and bottom energy appropriately based off of like literally what's actually fucking happening. Not on what I want to happen, not on the fantasy of what I want to happen, but to like respect the situation for what it is. Like I go to this thing called, have you ever heard of an event called Kink Fest in Portland?
Maybe. I think we talked about this on stream before. But
did we? Ahead. I can't remember. So tell me if I'm repeating.
Not you and me, but I think there have been arguments over like
on your
should kink be at pride parades because of children there? It's like a thing.
Oh yeah, that's like the number one queer kink conversation that happens every year. And yeah. But no. Kink Fest is an event. It's at a conference. It's just like a kink event for people in Portland. Would love, I hope everything's opening up again so I can go. But like the thing that's funny about it is, wait, I lost my fucking train of thought because you interrupted me like a man would. Hold on.
Fuck you asked me if I was laughing.
Hold on. That wasn't even when you interrupted me. You interrupted me just now. Hold on.
No, you're interrupting
me.
Top and
bottom. Destiny's the bottom. Let me think. Hold on.
Top and bottom energy. I know how to activate that top and bottom energy of people.
I got you. Yeah. So I was at Kink Fest and I told all my tops, there's like 4 of my tops there at the time. I was like, okay, everybody, Brittany's going as a top to this event. I'm going to wear my top clothes and nobody will treat me like a bottom. And my tops were like, sure. And I was like, great. And then I got out onto the floor. My top, one of them came up to me. They put their hands like on my fucking shoulder like Bane. And I went, fuck it, I'm going to be a bottom. And they're like, what happened? I was like, you fucking did the thing. And like, you didn't say anything, but you don't have to. Like naturally, my body just knows what to do, which is why I'm so toppy right now. Because I naturally know what to do in this situation. Like I know what to do when I'm reading energies, right? Like,
because you're embarrassed if I'm topping you so hard and you feel like you have to like show for your audience like how alpha giga.
No. I'm comforting you like the good. Like no. Don't you feel comforted by me? I wore this harness and everything. Like, don't you feel like comforted with the way that I'm talking to you and treating you? Like you're safe with me. You can give your emotions to me. I see a scared
woman that's trying really hard to front as though you have like some sort of situational dominance over me. But that's cool. It's all right. I'm used to people thinking they can do it.
Stop. Honestly, scared is not the word I would use. Excited a little bit, but only because listen. You go through these modes that I think is actually really fun where like you're funny and you're snippy and you're witty and you're funny. And then you'll go through other modes where I'm like, oh, Destiny's being a bottom. And I've discovered, do you want me to tell you where I saw it? No, I shouldn't. Should I tell you where I saw it?
Why we've come this far, so yeah, why not go for it? Yeah.
This is why I really want to talk. I hope Melina and I become friends one day because like I love women who have fun boyfriends and like or husbands in your situation.
That's exactly where most of everything falls apart with me for friendship. So yeah, if you're ever done being friends, because that's when things start to get really weird. But hey, you know what? Maybe you'll be the first one that can handle that. Go ahead. In a video game. What were you saying?
Wait. I have a whole theory about Melina and her relationships with women. So like, I definitely want to open up a safe space for her so I can let her know. But obviously, okay, wait. So
I heard these quotes so many times where it's just like the one where the woman's like, oh, I see other people go crazy. That's not me. Like, okay.
Wait, what do you mean? See, what do you mean? Wait.
There's been a lot. Okay. I'm not accusing you of doing this. Although you might do it. I don't know. I'm not going to say I don't know you.
I'm pretty smart. I could do anything. What is it?
It's one of the problems we've had in the past. It seems like sometimes women go to Melina because they think that if they can go through Melina, they can get to me easier.
I've already gotten to you though.
You really think so?
Yeah, obviously, bro. We're literally on chat right now the third time. Like you're chilling. You like me already, right?
Yeah,
like we're friends. Like we're chilling. We're like
a lot of
two
people
friends.
3 times. Okay, right now your ego's right here. Okay, you need to bring it way below those fucking curls, honey. All right, you're way too confident in this conversation. I might have to block you on Discord for a couple months just to get you back in the right headspace. Okay, calm down.
That would be that would really hurt my like YouTube feelings. Don't block me, but tell me before you do.
Okay, where were you at before?
How I might use Melina to get to you, which I don't need to do.
I'm just saying that's a funny thing that we've like. It's come up a couple times.
Yeah, it's a tactic. You remember, I was an educator in this field. I absolutely know how easy it is to go through the woman, but it's not if the woman is like been hurt enough by other girls. She's gonna know, bitch. She's gonna see it coming. No, women do that naturally. It's just like they're trying to get to the quote unquote man, which is why open relationships are so difficult. So my sympathies and great empathy go to your situation because I know it is so hard, especially if you guys are not involved in poly, kink, or open communities, like whole communities. And even then, homie, like this is what I'm saying, like consent and all these things get so blurred in the gray.
Yeah.
Because of these situations. And I would like to say for the record, like the reason you're safe to flirt with is because you're married. Like, I don't know.
Other girls do it?
No, from what? Say that again?
Why other girls think I'm safe to flirt with?
No, why I think you're safe to flirt with. Like Brittany's perspective is that Steven is safe because he's married, which means
you feel safe for that reason.
Well, because you're not
incredibly dangerous. What are you talking about? What do you mean? You have no idea my background. You don't know if I'm a felon. You don't know what I've done to other people.
No.
Melina might be my fucking sex trafficked prisoner from Eastern Europe for all you know. You don't know if she's Swedish. She might be from fucking Lithuania. She might be here against her own will. Have you talked to her before? I stuck her in front of a camera. I started making her stream so she can earn some money. Well, I'm basically her pimp. Okay.
Okay, I love that.
Don't make assumptions about my. Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on.
I love you.
Okay, hold on. Wait. This got way too much. Okay. Melina's a lovely woman. She has to deal with a lot of shit being in a relationship with me. Okay.
Yes.
Where were we at before we got onto this tangent? I'm sorry.
Hold on. Wait. Yeah. Well, hold on. I gotta finish my thought because now I'm not gonna lose. I'm gonna like feel like listen.
Okay, sorry.
You're safe to flirt
Melina's
with.
not sex trafficked.
Because obviously Melina is a bad bitch. I looked at her stats on Twitch. Like she's fine. She doesn't need you. Like she's fine.
Okay. Yeah. All right, dude. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Yeah. Sure. She is.
Okay. So like my former feminist self is gonna come to the surface pretty soon here to fight for her honor. But like, okay. No. The reason you're safe is because, like, if you were a single man, I wouldn't be talking to you like this because then I'd be teasing and assuming that we'd be in some sort of, like, relationship based off of these conversations. But because you're married, then it's just like, oh, we're just, like, flirting and having fun and, like, nothing that we don't need to have that conversation because you're married. If you weren't married, we'd then have to be like, hey, Steven, are you okay with the fact that I'm flirting with you on stream? And I just want to get your consent because I don't want you to think I'm leading you on for something that won't happen.
Yeah, I understand. So because I'm married, I have no more feelings and there's not a possibility you could mislead me or anything because I'm just a fucking married robot male. I understand. Okay,
exactly. Okay, we're on the same page. No, perfect. Okay. Perfect. But obviously the relationship I'd like to form with you will be separate from anything that maybe Melina and I get to have in the future because like she's her own agent. Like she's her own person. You know what I mean? And like, you're not attached to her. Like, you're not cool enough to be like her. You know what I'm saying? Like, separate. Look at.
I understand. I know. I understand how you're talking about Destiny's boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I was gonna say you're more like Melina's husband. You know, like how lucky for you.
Not even close.
How lucky for you. Okay, so all of this aside, just so like that girl power conversation's out of the way, you know, because I could say to the public so they all know my intentions are not malicious.
Because why would you ever lie about your intentions if they were malicious?
I actually don't lie. It's part of my value system. But
of course. And if you did lie, you would. Oh, I guess you'd say the exact same thing.
It'd have to be for pure survival, and even then, I don't know. I'm pretty open to a bullet. So, gun to my head, does God exist? I'm probably not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna be like, probably not, and then, Columbine. Jeez, no, that's too much of a reference.
That's a horrible reference.
Sorry.
We don't joke about like suicide by a gun here, okay? I play a lot of League of Legends, so one day it might happen.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Okay, no, keep going. Where were we at? Go ahead. Go back. Can you lead me, please? My bottom energy. I need you to carry me to the next part of the conversation.
I got you. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. Especially as a bisexual, non-binary. Like, I assume you're like you like to be called like baby boy and all that stuff too. That's perfect. I love
baby boy. Oh,
yeah, Jesus. Like the queer non-binary boys, sweet bottoms, sweet bottoms. Right? That's who you are, right? Am I getting your identity wrong?
There must have been other destinies that you've been watching streams from, but
I'm sorry. Are you non-binary?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Are you a gamer bisexual boy?
I'm not. I'm pansexual, not bisexual.
Are you a pansexual gamer boy?
I'm a gamer. I'm not a gamer boy. Okay, I'm a different boy.
You're fighting me so hard on this. You're fighting me so hard.
Yeah, I know, because I don't want to be. I'm not trying to get labeled by you right now. Okay, what are you? Yeah.
I'm just kidding. All labels don't even exist. They don't even exist. They don't even exist. Labels.
Yeah. Okay. As you're like, oh, you're a bisexual gamer.
No. They don't even exist. This isn't. No. This isn't Tumblr. Hey, I'm not a person on Twitter who has my identifiers in my bio. That's cringe.
Oh, I'm not.
I would never.
From Twitter. That's my friend. I would never make a Twitter account and disrespect the terms of service there.
Yeah. I'm sure. Your Twitter bio is like a fucking book of labels, and I love that for you immensely.
Good. I'm glad. Being a hardcore, Democrat that stands Hillary Clinton, I just felt like it was appropriate to make sure people knew where I stood on the issues.
Honestly, in my conservative town where I grew up, there was legit a truck with Hillary Clinton's whole fucking face detailed on it, and it said "throw her into prison." And I said, "Wow, that lady lives so rent free in your mind. Like have a truck with her face." I'm assuming your truck is just like that, only it's like, throw her into the White House or something like that.
I would never have Hillary Clinton shit on my stuff, because if I did, I would just come on it constantly. I don't think every morning.
How could you deny yourself? Her pantsuit is a lesbian's wet dream. Ever since I was young, that's how I knew I was gay. I was like, oh my God, Mom, her pantsuit. My mom was like, they're ugly. I was like, they are literally 10 out of 10. To this day, I stand by that. Gun to my head, the best fashionista in all of politics, Miss Hillary Clinton. Okay, so I can't even remember what we were talking about, but I think it was something that, in conclusion, me top, you bottom, energy good. No, do you want my real opinion about that, by the way? Would you like my real authentic opinion on it?
No, I'm talking to you for 2 or 3 hours because I don't want your opinion on anything. Yeah, of course, go for
Well,
it.
obviously, but like, let's be real.
Why do you say you radiate top energy? But you like ask me for permission. It's so funny because people act like they're so top and dominant, and then whenever they talk to me, they're like, oh, can I tell you this particularly? Can I do that? Can I do that? Like, what are you seeking approval or
No, because
validation, or are you generally?
I'm like a mommy dom.
Yeah?
I take care of my
Oh,
bottoms.
yeah?
I check in with them. How are you feeling? Are you good? Do you need a bottle? Do
Oh,
you need,
that's
like,
how you convince yourself that you're constantly asking for permission to advance. Okay, yeah, well, that makes you feel better. Yeah, go ahead. You can tell me about this thing.
Thank you. I
really wanna
appreciate
know.
it. Honestly, you're really learning from me right now, giving my words back to me. I appreciate that.
I'm here to learn and listen. Okay.
Good job, Steven. So proud. So proud. So my real authentic Brittany opinion is that I think you are a switch with a primarily like soft bottom energy that allows when opportunities come about, specifically when people are hounding you, that your toppy energy like takes over initially. Like you don't even see it coming. I watched you in a vlog because I did a little light stalking to make sure that I wasn't trampling on anyone's toes in how I talk to people because, you know, I'm old, I've lived a life, people have given me feedback on how I appear to people. So I was on Melina's vlogs and I saw one vlog and I just needed that video.
Wait, you were on what? Something cut out. You were on what?
Melina's vlogs on YouTube.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like she has a vlog channel and there's one video of you. I just needed to see like 2 minutes to be like, aha. You were on a boat and she was on a raft and you were trying to get into the water and you were like, the water's so cold. And Melina, like a dominant goddess she is, was just in the water flapping around like a mermaid, and you were sitting there like, ooh, it's really cold. And right at that moment I was like, primarily bottom energy, caring and giving, likes his partner and is comfortable with her, doesn't need to like fight for dominance or see that like I'm big and tough and I can handle the water. Melina does it naturally, goes about doing her thing. She just naturally moves with like her wants from what I've seen. Could be wrong, obviously, I don't know her yet. So it's like one of those things where I see you with a primarily very open and giving energy, which comes off bottomy, which is good because it allows people to feel very safe with you. And then when appropriate and when it happens to come out, like when I'm teasing or when people are teasing you or like even fighting with you online, your toppy energy comes out. One of my patrons almost died on a hill saying you were daddy energy. I'm going to say less daddy energy because you're too egalitarian in your energy and you're less focused on being like the center of attention. But I will say you have a potential to get there. Maybe when you're like a salt and pepper daddy at like 50.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like I've put you properly in your place?
You just absolutely. I think that you're actually pretty close on, I'd say like 80% of that maybe. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. Well, that other 20%, is that like the private version of you?
I'm not sure. I'd have to think about it more. I think that so when I think about myself and my position in other people's lives or my position or energy, I guess, in certain interactions, I'm not usually thinking about like it's mapping onto similar feelings I have. I think that you're probably right in that I am like, how would I describe it? I think that if it's probably similar in conversations and sexually. I think if I'm with somebody, I will always come across as like very stable and confident and willing to do whatever. But the other person always has a feeling that they have like a safe space to kind of like be or explore or lead something or do something. And I'm kind of like willing to follow along or go to wherever they want. So in that sense, yeah, I guess if that's kind of your explanation, then that probably maps on there.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's what makes you so open, though. Is like you're really meeting people where they are. That not only works in politics, but it works in relationships and in sexual chemistry. Like it's really nice because then what you can do instead of clouding the other person's energy with your perceived fantasy, you can meet them where they are and then eventually come together to convert it into a shared fantasy and then reality.
Yeah, sure. And I think one of the things because I've kind of thought in the past, like, how do I have good interactions with people? Or it seems like I have a lot of good interactions with people. Like, what do I think is happening versus what's not? And especially now that I've done so many like threesomes and stuff, I can kind of see like how do different people interact with each other. It feels like I have. I think that when I'm with people, I feel like, obviously this is a feeling, but it feels like when I'm with people, they feel like they have a very safe spot to let out a lot of stuff. We're in an incredibly like judgment-free environment and in a way where they can explore that. And they know that they have somebody else that's going to kind of like be there to tag along with those thoughts or those activities and live in that environment in a pretty safe space with them. I think I do a good job at like giving that type of environment to people. And I think that people generally like that because it seems like It's hard to exist in a space with somebody where you don't feel judged, or where the other person is not as concerned with what you want, but they're trying to get something out of you.
Totally.
And that when you've had those types of interactions over and over and over again, being in an interaction where you feel like the other person is receptive to what you want or need, or is like willing to go along or follow you with what you want and like ask you questions or do things related to that, I think is like a really freeing thing for a lot of people. Yeah.
It is. How do you feel in it when you're in it? Do you feel like in that moment you are like topping in a very less strategic way? Because you said you don't really think about their energies that way, right? But do you feel like you're guiding people in that moment or guiding the situation?
Yeah, I think so. I think that me and Melina are probably similar in that sense. So something that I would say, this is getting weirdly personal, or not weirdly personal, but I haven't typically dove into this. So, good job. You got there eventually. Okay. So I think I'll give a total bitch boy take. Okay. I think that through the necessity of all of the relationships or engagements that I've had in my entire life, I tend to be leading in every single thing, whether it's a social interaction, romantic interaction. So, like, that's just the type of person I am. It's the type of energy I give. It's the type of relationships I'm in. But when I'm with other people that are very confident or they can take that role, it's really fun to just sit back and like, oh, this person is going to like take care of me now, or this person's going to handle things. Because typically I'm the one that's organizing, arranging, figuring out every detail, making sure that everything is going right. If there's problems, I have to resolve it. Like, I'm kind of micromanaging and controlling every single aspect of like what's going around me, usually due to necessity. But if I can meet somebody else that's like a very confident, not like asshole person, but just somebody that's capable of like taking care of things, they understand their wants and needs, they understand, being around those people is super fun. And to be able to like turn my brain off and just like chill is a very, very rare experience, but it's very cool when it happens. Yeah.
Ditto. Okay, so this is why I'm curious, because that's why so my sister told me years ago to watch your content, and I was like, I'll get to it eventually. And I finally got into it in the last year or so, and legit, like, your brain and my brain, like, they really do work similarly, and I like that. Lots of people's brains work like this. I just, like, it tends to stick out more to me because it's partly leader, which is frustrating to me. And this is, like, I just want to talk to you as, like, a person, because honestly, I struggle with this constantly, where, like, the trope of a dominant woman, like, one of my patrons once told me, he's like, stop telling people you're a bottom. I was like, I'm a switch. But like, I have a primary bottom energy. He's like, no, you don't. Have you seen you at work? I was like, at work, bitch. Obviously, I'm like on top. But like in my real life, like the moment this fucking turns off, I'm in sweatpants and a hoodie and I'm sitting on the couch like, everybody, let's watch anime and not do anything responsible for a long time. And like, even then though, I'm casted as like the older sister, the responsible aunt, the responsible this. It's exhausting. So it is nice to meet people who can kind of handle it with you. But I do find that the stereotype is like women are lying about being dominant or like tops. And so they really just want a man to take control of them. And like, no, that's like disgustingly like turn offy. Like, I don't fucking like it. You know what I mean?
So I know what you mean. We're probably not going to disagree. So I'll start off with saying I disagree, but maybe we'll end up in a similar spot. I think that when I meet people that are similar to me, so I like aggressive, we'll say women, because we're talking about women. I really like aggressive, like the type of woman where somebody like, God, she's such a fucking cunt. Like, she's like, those are the types of people I love. I like those people. And so the people that I tend to engage with, even sexually, usually have like that type of energy always. And even maybe at the start of like a particular interaction, and I notice this more now through threesomes and other things where I observe them with other people, that I think that our minds, not you and me, but me and another person who's really aggressive, maybe you and me, but like our minds work similarly in that we tend to be we tend to be in these aggressive situations all the time. And when I associate with a person like that and they feel like I have that type of energy, sometimes they get this thought that like, this is actually really nice. I'm going to just shut it off and I'm going to let this person do everything. Yeah. And then they can exist in that environment. And it seems, And I didn't notice this until I must have been like 31 or 32. But there was a person that I saw, and anytime they interacted with another person, they were like, almost like too abusive. They were like hardcore, blah, 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 blah. And it was really crazy to me watching it. And they interacted like with every other person in life. But when I had an experience with this person, they were like the most like demure kind, like laying in, like this kind of thing. And it was really interesting to me seeing the difference. But I noticed sometimes, and I kind of wonder if that's a shared thought, because I think there might be people like me who feel like we're kind of aggressive or have to take charge all the time. But when you meet somebody else who's willing to fill that role, it's not that like, oh, like I just want to be supple, blah, 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 or I want other people to do everything for me. But it's it's like when you can find somebody that can take over it, it's really relaxing. Someone to just chill and be like, okay, this is really cool that you can fill this space for once, and I don't have to.
Yeah, but okay. So for like the way I'm processing that conversation is that right away my brain goes to, oh, how was he with Lauren Southern on the Capitol? And like, first of all, someone said it better than I could ever. They're like an old bitter like married couple who like love to fight with each other, and I was like, honestly, in a good way, the energy was so peak. It was really good, Steven. Like honestly, it was so funny and so like warm in a weird way. And I sat there and I was like, oh, look at them like switching on and off with each other. It was so nice. And then when I think about my BDSM brain goes like, look, I can't switch off my this space without people's consent. So I could never give someone the burden of being the leader if they didn't want to do it. And also I primarily dominate spaces, and then if necessary I will back off because like I don't really want to do it anyways. Like I just want to chill, but my natural inclination, like I said earlier, is to feel the energy that's needed. So if I don't see someone else doing it, like my body will naturally be like, okay, I'm in charge. Listen, everybody, I know what to do. Here's the most efficient route. Let's do it this way. But if I don't have to do it, I won't do it. But I usually confer with people like, hey, do you want to do it? Who wants to be in charge right now? You know what I mean? Who wants to move our group forward? When you were with Lauren Southern, how did you perceive your energy at that time? Because it looked like you were both having fun and it was awkward, but in a good way.
Yeah, okay, hold on. I just want to be really clear, okay? I just want to be ultra clear because we're using like BDSM terms. And like me and Lauren, we just did our stream at DC. We're not like dating or sexual or anything like that. Okay? I just want to be because I don't want people to like take close. Oh, Jesse said that they were top and bottom and blah. Okay, I just want to be super ultra clear that that's not the
And even from my perspective, I know Lauren Southern's work. I would never perceive her as being sexually active with you or doing that kind of stuff with you. And
excuse me.
First of all,
no, I'm just fucking. No, I'm just forgetting. I just want to make sure that we're clear on that. When I'm using these terms, it's not like so when I was pegging her, she was fucking me. Blah blah. This is not what we're talking about, right? Okay, just make sure we understand that. We're all understand that. Okay.
Yes.
The fighting for space with somebody is really fun to me. I enjoy that interaction. We're kind of doing it, right?
Yeah.
Where both people are, and we have that type of interaction. I think most of the people that have had a lot of fun with on stream have been those types of interactions.
Sorry, my hair just messed up, and because I'm a top, I'm fixing it while you talk to me, which is not disrespectful whatsoever.
No, it's totally fine. I can't even tell that it's messed up because it all looks messed up.
I knew that was coming. That's why I made the face preemptively. You see how your jokes are predictable? Like preemptively, I made the face because I knew what you were going to say. Very funny. Actually, that's an ethnic slur right there, basically. You're basically insulting me for my ethnic hair and saying it looks messy, which is a white person's perspective.
And Hispanic people tend to be really ethnically slurful, so that's just part of my heritage. So
actually, that is true. Okay, I respect you. I'm sorry I ever said anything. You are right.
Okay, that's okay.
See how I gave up power so easily? Because it was correct. See, I'm not afraid to be wrong.
You were afraid, but go ahead.
Never afraid, never fear. But no, I think
to go back and forth with people. Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is what's so interesting about people, right? Because like I've been thinking about what it must be like to like, top Putin. And I've been really thinking about that, especially over the course of the last week with everything happening. Because I already know Ukraine's leader is a bottom. But like in terms of Putin, he's obviously a top. But I kind of feel like he wants to be a bottom sometimes. Doesn't he ever get tired?
Okay, so tell me if I'm wrong on this, because I've been talking around this. And I'll directly say now, I feel like most people, and this might just be projected from my own feelings, I feel like most people that are tops or have that energy or whatever, when you can meet somebody that you trust enough and respect enough to do it, it's nice to take a step back and let them do it. Do you think that's true for like of most, or do you think there are people that are like, no, I'm top all the time. I'm never, ever gonna let anybody take that space from me?
So it depends. In BDSM lore, there is the stereotype that every submissive you meet in the dungeon is a secret top in real life because they just need a fucking moment. That was really my reasoning for joining the dungeon, was like I needed someone else to fucking just not let me think for a second, for fuck's sake. And it's the only time, sex and BDSM are the only times my brain doesn't think. So like that's really nice. But I have met people who are truly like, basically a dom top all the time, with rare exceptions of bottoming, so rare that they're not so much a need as so much a pleasure that's so rare that they can't pass it up. So like I was with a person who was non-binary female, who was a top 24/7. With other people, they tried to be bottoms, but it didn't really work. And with me, I was never a top with them. Like there was never a time their energy ever went bottomy with me. Just like never. And I respected like that relationship for what it could be. But the 1 or 2 times they talked about maybe body-shaming was in such a specific situation that it almost would never happen for them. But there didn't seem to be a mourning for them. I know a lot of people I've met have mourned the idea of not meeting that person, which I can understand because as a person that would like to explore all parts of herself before I die, weirdly, sadly enough, you do need other people to explore it. So it's kind of like you can't, really do it with yourself. You can do solo BDSM, but girl, it ain't the same. It's like masturbation's not sex. It's not the same. So yeah, I think most people in the world are probably switchy. Like I think most people in the world are more bisexual than straight, really. But it's on a spectrum, and how they interact with that spectrum is going to be up to the individual. But I think some few people are gay, and top, and some people are bottom, and whatever, straight. But for the most people, I think we all fall on the spectrum.
Okay, yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Yeah, I know people don't really like that though because it contradicts the whole identity they've placed for themselves. But I think, okay, I was watching, did you see this? I love Abba and Preach, okay? And no shade. Okay, Abba and Preach are great. They've seen my channel. They've promoted my stuff. I love them. This is not shade. Abba was talking about some video where he had to watch men's feet for a second, and my boy could not get through the video. And I was like, Abba! And like, he couldn't. He's like, it just feels gay, bruh. And I was like, oh my God. And like, I think about
oh man.
Do you know what I'm saying? That's a bubble of straightness that is so straight for me. It's like hard to even process because I'm like, it's a man's. Preach is so much more like comfortable with his like orientation and like his body and stuff. But like, isn't that interesting? Like how you could be a man who's so open in some ways, but then like can't handle the men's feet thing. Like, isn't that funny? Right? And like, I think that's what life is like.
Yeah, there's like a lot of guys that will never have a threesome because if they want to have like an FFM threesome, their girlfriend will be like, yeah, sure, can we do an MMF one? It's like, no, that's the gayest thing in the world. It's like, okay.
Exactly.
There's like a lot of weird stuff related to that.
Oh.
I don't think that's sexuality talking. I think that's some other. I don't think sexually people feel that way. That's got to be some other mental thing going on, some sort of societal pressure or some sort of paradigm that they view their sexuality as being something like external themselves or whatever. Like that thing that I said before, where it's like people give you the answer of the communities they're in. It's like, okay, well, would it be gay if I did this? The thought isn't like, well, would it make me gay? The thought is more like, what do gay and straight people do? Gay people do that, straight people do that, so I have to do this thing. Yeah, is what it feels like.
Yes, absolutely. And do you believe this? I come from a place of belief that straight people can have gay sex and not be gay.
Yeah, of course.
You say that, but I'm sure you've met those people that are like, nah, bro, you even like kiss a bro, you're gay. But like a lot of straight guys.
It's like so stupid. Like, yeah, like I like personally. So I like oral with guys. That's all I like doing. I don't like any anal stuff at all.
You on them or them on you? Or both?
Usually me on them.
Okay.
But I don't even like to call myself bisexual because it almost doesn't even feel like I'm bisexual. Like I kind of.
Because you're not going to marry a man over a woman.
Yeah, I would never, and I definitely never date a guy, and I think guys are kind of whatever, right? But yeah, but like some people will be like, if I look at a guy in a certain way, I don't know if that makes me gay. Like you're scared that you're gonna get like turned gay or something, and it's like, really? Like that's how you view it? I don't know. It just seems like such an oddly one-dimensional way of like viewing anything. But I mean, people do that with a whole host of different behaviors. So yeah.
They really do. No, I mean, yeah, me too. I can think of 1,000 ways that even like I gatekeep bisexuality. Sometimes when women hit on me for dates, I do always have like a slew of questions I ask them to make sure they're gay enough. Because like, do you understand that I will marry you and have kids with you, and I will never look at another penis again? I will never look at a man again. Because like
that's one of the or finish what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, and so like I go through this rigorous test, and so they go, are you invalidating my bisexuality? I was like, no, you can identify as bisexual. I'm just invalidating your ability to date me.
Yeah, I am a full-on fan of like bi erasure. I don't believe in bisexual people. Well, no, I don't believe in bisexual women. I'm starting to not believe in bisexual men because it's becoming more trendy as a guy to say you're bisexual. But me and Melina ran into that a plethora of times because of the way that guys are. If a guy is flirting with you, you will fucking know it. You said this earlier about how like, oh, men are so obvious, whatever. But like, you can be in DMs with a girl and she might say some shit like, I want to suck a clit and finger you. And then you meet her in real life. She's like, I'm not bi. That's so gross. I would never touch another pussy.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, I was just saying that shit. I was just joking, girl. Like, and it is impossible. Me and Melina have played games before where we're like looking at her like Instagram DMs with other girls. And she's like trying to figure like, is this flirty? I can't tell. I was like, I don't know. Like, ask her if she's going to eat your pussy. Like, and you're like, and then like the other girl might respond to someone. It's like, and she's like joking and giving winky faces. And we're like, fuck, is she gay? I don't actually know. I have no idea. I can't tell if she's just like being a dumb fucking girl or she's actually funny. And it's like impossible to figure out. Yeah, it's like so stupid.
Well, that's why I have to do like the test. But that's why I want people to understand like I've been with more women than I have been with men, but I've publicly dated men. Mm-hmm. So everyone assumes that like I'm 50, I'm 100. I 100% like men, I 100% like women. There's literally not a difference to me, which is why I can be monogamous with a woman and not think about being with a man. But lesbians tell me all the time, like lesbians mostly don't date me because they're afraid I'm going to leave them for men.
You're bisexual, 100%. And I totally empathize with that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fair because even me as a bisexual woman, when I date other bi girls, like I'm like, okay, but how gay are you? Like, are you gay? Yeah. Because like I need to know.
Or is it like a fun fling thing for you? And as soon as you see the right guy, you're going to it's kind of like when it reminds me of, it's not related to bisexuality, but when a girl says some shit, and I hear this all the time. Whenever people, you actually might say this, and if you do say this, I don't believe you when you say it. A lot of people say shit like, I'm not looking to date anybody right now. I'm just kind of working on myself. Bullshit, motherfucker. If the right person came along, you would date them 100%. Don't lie to me. I've met so many fucking girls, and I can tell there are certain girls I see, and it's like, you're going to be single for like 1 month tops, and you'll be dating somebody. I don't give a fuck what you say now about how you're working yourself. Like, motherfucker, you're going to be dating somebody immediately. Don't lie. You just haven't seen the right person yet. Okay?
100. You know what I tell people? I'm like, look, don't put a time limit on yourself. Don't say like, oh, I'm not gonna date anyone for a year, because you never know, right? What I say to people is like, just avoid dating websites and like don't go out on dates, and that's you not dating. You don't have to announce to the world you're not dating right now, because it makes no sense. You're putting yourself in a position like, look, I am absolutely dating right now. If anyone thinks they're my future person, call me right now. I will hang up on Steven right now. And I will come talk to you. No, I'm never in a position where I'm not dating. I'm just in a position where literally I forget to date. And also, I told you this, I don't share my location. It's very hard to date when you're me. I'm a YouTuber. It's gay. Oh my God, I'm retarded as hell. You want to hear something? I went on a date with a guy a few months ago, and legit, like, I don't tell people what I do. So he goes, what do you do for a living? And I go, oh, I review like philosophy and pop culture. That's like what I tell people. He's like, oh, in a newspaper? I'm like, nope. And right when I said nope, he went to that fucking YouTube and clicked in Brittany philosophy and found me right away. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And like, he literally, okay, but get this, he like hid it from me that he found out who I was.
Oh, that's so smart. That's what I would do. I would look your shit up, and I would look at every fucking piece of information about you, and we'd be having conversations, and I would find the perfect place. Like, we're going to disagree in here, and I'm going to argue this, but I'll agree with you on the important things. Like, oh, absolutely. This is manipulation 101. Okay, so this guy's a smart guy. Go ahead. Tell me, are you guys married now, or what happened?
No, I already told you this story. He's the guy I met a while ago. No. But let me tell you, you know what's funny about it is like, he knew, he had all the answers. And not only did he show up like 15 minutes late, he wanted a gold star for not getting me flowers. He's like, I intended to get you flowers, but I didn't. I'm like, great. And then like, he was so sweet on the date. Like the date itself was a lot of fun. But the thing is like, this is what I'm saying. You had all the information and you couldn't even do the leap. You know how you asked me, do people hear me talk about what I want out of dates and then try to manipulate me to try to be that person?
Oh,
they can't keep up with it. They can't. It shows the moment they try, because all you have to do is ask them the right question, and they'll be like, well, like you said, they don't know why they believe what they believe. I want to know why you believe what you believe, homie. If you're going to hold like a strong ass position, you better tell me why, or get the fuck out of my face. Oh, this is me on a date. I'm like, get the fuck out of my, I'm not a very, my mom says I'm too aggressive with men. What do you think, Steven?
You're as aggressive as you need to be to find the person you want to find.
Hey, amen, sister. Amen, girlfriend. I'm going to go tell her that. I'm like, Mom, a man told me that I'm the perfect me. I'm perfect. That's what he said. I'm perfect. That's what I heard. But yeah, I think this is normal.
There's like, depending on the type of person you are, like there is a type of person that I like, and that type of person can't really be faked. Because if the type of person that isn't that type of person tries to fake it, I'm going to pick up on it very quickly, and one of us is going to hate each other very quickly. So
that's I don't know why people don't understand that. Like my mom will say, you should marry a nice Catholic boy, Brittany. That's what I want for you. I'm like, why do you want me to torture him for the rest of his life? I don't understand why people don't understand. That's going to be a toxic relationship, because you're going to know I think you're fucking stupid. And I don't even mean that like I only mean that in the relationship with me. Outside of the relationship with me, I don't care who people are. They're smart and beautiful and lovely, and all humans are good and blah, blah, blah. But when you're dating me, I am going to be so aggressively like, just I want to make sure that when I'm fucking in a coma, you're gonna make the right fucking decisions, and I'm not gonna hate you when I wake up.
That is actually a really hard double standard to have.
No,
I've run into this problem a lot where there is oh man, hold on, how do I say this not sound like a sociopathic asshole? When I engage with Melina, my expectations of her are very very high because she's my dating partner, and to deal with me, you have to be an insane fucking person. But sometimes she'll notice when I'm engaging with other people that I can like baby them a little bit more, or be like a lot more patient or soft or kind or whatever. Yeah, and you know, there's like, understandably from her perspective, it kind of feels like, okay, why are you so fucking patient or kind or like thoughtful or listen to these other people? When you deal with me, you're a fucking asshole. And it sounds bad to say it, but like in my mind, and I try to find a nice way to say it, it's like, well, like my expectations for you are way fucking higher. Like I treat those people like that because I'm hanging out with them for 3 days and then I'm never seeing them again in my entire fucking life.
Yeah.
But I think that dichotomy, I don't know if you've ever had that in a relationship where if you're with a partner and they see you acting in a certain way towards them, they can be like very aggressive, high expectation, very demanding. And then towards other people, you're like way more understanding and patient.
Totally.
And it's like, well, why are you so much nicer to them? Yeah, it's a hard thing sometimes to deal with, I think.
But I need people, that's what I'm saying. So if you're my partner, I need you to understand that, because it makes sense. Like, especially with my job, not everyone comes to me for different reasons, but there's a large portion of them that come to me from a very much like, I need you to help me. And that automatically puts me in a top position and them in a bottom position because I'm helping them. I don't want to look at my partner like someone I am helping.
Child. Yeah.
Yes. I don't want to be someone's mother. I want to be equal with my partner. Like, we are both equal. So that's why I like switching energy with my partners as much as possible. Because I'm saying, good, when I'm lacking, you can pick it up. When you're lacking, I can pick it up, and we can move off each other. Because like today, I woke up really sick today, and I told myself, like, you're going to do this live show. You're going to do this live show. You're going to do this live show. And I had to like get myself up here. So you're welcome. But like every part of me after the stream is probably going to go cry in the bathroom because I'm pushing down all the physical pain I'm in right now. And I'm just like, don't pay attention to it, Brittany. But it would be nice to live in a world where I didn't have to do that alone. Right. But like, I don't. So I have to manage, and I figure it out, and it's great. Like I figured out my life like in that positioning. But when you're in a relationship, you expect your partner to be like really compassionate. In this moment, I actually would need a partner to be like, get off your fucking ass and get on that fucking live show. Steven is waiting for you. You have to like get there and like be there. You promised you would be there. You have to do it. But instead I dom myself. I'm like, get up, you fucking bitch. Let's go. And like 12 minutes before we were going to go live, I was in my PJs on the bathroom floor eating like crackers, like trying to be here. So I hope
do you respond more to like negative, like pushing, or like?
I call it Emineming myself. So I bully myself to make myself do the things I need to do. But I don't ever call myself stupid or dumb or whore. Sometimes slut, because, you know, I'm one of those. But I never like insult my intelligence or anything like that. I usually tell myself like, I like bitch, or like I like slurs in general, but I'm like, bitch, get up. Let's go. Like, let's fucking go. Like, you have things to do. So I normally like tell myself the way I would, the way I imagine when I'm working out. I imagine like Chris Heria, who are like the you know, Becky, the people I watch on like Becky. She's the Instagrammer. You probably wouldn't know her. But anyway, I watch these people and I'm like imagining them like watching me going, one more push up, you fucking bitch. And I'm like, okay, one more push up. Yeah. So like, yeah, I do like yell at myself to basically get myself to go, because honestly, some days like today, I woke up and I was like, oh, I feel nauseous. I feel sick. And I'm like, all I want to do is sleep, even though I slept fine yesterday. It's like your body sometimes is fucking not in it and your mind has to make it happen. So yeah. Do you do that, or do you do something similar, or no?
Similar. I'm probably more mean, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you insult yourself enough to hurt though? Like hurt your feelings?
Well, I'm not going to hurt my feelings.
Okay, but I could hurt my feelings.
If I can't finish this particular thing, like, I'm a fucking retard. I deserve to fucking fail this, blah, blah, blah. That's like, but that type of stuff drives me a lot. When people are, I don't know why, this might be toxic, but when people are encouraging to me, I hate it actually so much. I would rather they just shut the fuck up and not say anything. Yeah. So like, if I'm trying to do something that like, I was like, you can do it, you can do it. It's like, I'm either going to do it or I'm not. I don't need you to fucking tell me that you think I can do it. Like, you don't know if I can do it. You love me, so you say
yeah.
Right? Like, I don't respond well to it. I need.
How many siblings did you grow up with?
It's that really.
Okay, you got one of those Brady Bunch families or something? You got one of those like step-sibling families?
So my mom and dad both had 2 kids, and then they got married to each other, and then they had me and my sister. But when we were born, the youngest other sibling was probably already 11. So I grew up having initially like 3 older siblings in the house, but by the time I hit, I think like 10 or 11 years old, they all moved out. So I'm kind of like the oldest brother of my brother and sister, like 2 siblings, but then I'm kind of the youngest, and that there were like 4 or 5 siblings living in the house.
That's interesting. That is interesting. Well, because I grew up, I was going to correlate it because I grew up with like a bunch of brothers and I am like the boy sister. So like me and my sister are the only girls. She's the girl sister and I'm the boy sister. Is like when we're working out and we have like a gym in our loft. It's like the best thing we ever did this year was convert our loft into a gym. I'm like, we're geniuses. And so like when we're working out, I want them to be like, you fucking pussy. You can't even do it, you bitch. This is why nobody cares, Brittany. You're not a top. And I'm like, you're not a fucking top. And so like I like that encouragement, but I also know they don't mean it. And it would bother me more if they're like, you can do it. And I'm like, okay, I don't need, obviously I can, okay. Or maybe I can't, but no, my brothers are insulting. Like when I go downstairs, like my brother, he saw me the other day working. I was like, oh, you're gross. Your body's disgusting. There's not even an ounce of muscle on it. Gross.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay,
that's a lot. But
first of all, no, it's hilarious. And I look at him and I'm just like, okay, faticus, maticus. Like, I don't need to hear it from you, bitch. And like, we'll make fun of each other, even like, and whatever works. But we usually check in, like, I will check in with them. And I'm like, hey, just on the DL, like, are you good? Or did I go too far today? Like, did I insult too personally today? And he's like, no, shut the fuck up. I'm not a bitch. And I'm like, okay. And then sometimes I can tell, even if I have really, and they're like, not, you know, they say I haven't.
Yeah.
But so I try never to truly like say anything that would hurt my feelings because I am sensitive about certain things, and those things I keep locked down in a safe so no one will ever be able to use them against me. But like truly they're just like basic things that I'm sure are pretty basic if people thought about them, but I never use those insults towards myself. I just know like it's like that adrenaline thing. Like when I go skydiving, I go, okay bitch, go. Like you want to hesitate even though there's someone strapped to you because I haven't gotten licensed yet. You think like, oh, he's going to do it for you, but he needs you to run. So like the last time I went skydiving, I took my youngest brother. I like to take people skydiving. That's like my love language of like, hey, you want to do something together? So I took him and we went out one of those old military planes where they opened out the back and you all spill out. And I saw him go over the corner and my big sister brain was like, holy shit, go save him. And I was like, go. And I felt it happen. And it was so amazing to feel that. And so I feel like a lot of the time I'm coaching myself. Maybe that's a good way to say it. Instead of like negative connotations, I'm coaching myself. She'd be like, go. You ever see those boxers? The girls or guys are about to go and they just, or even the power lifters, and they get hit on the back of their head by their coaches, like really aggressively. I kind of like it. Where I'm like, yes, like
There's a, I had this experience once in my life. I've never met another person like this, like teacher, which is sad. But there is a harshness because the expectation is so great and it feels bad, but only because it's so positive. So I started band in high school as a freshman. So I was behind everybody else. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it's math or whatever, but I took to music really well. I learned the theory very fast. I learned my instrument really fast. And my freshman year, I was in beginner band with like 3 other kids that had no desire to fucking be there because they were just like took an elective in high school or whatever. But by sophomore year, I made like all-state and then like Wesleyan High School all-state band or whatever. They're like these different all-state bands, and I made them. I think one of these first chair. So I did really, really good. I got there really quickly. But I remember in my freshman year, my band teacher, this guy commands more respect than I've ever met of any other professor teacher in my entire life. He was just like that.
Yeah.
But I remember one time because he kind of babied me, but had expectations of me like in beginner band because I was a beginner player. But I told him on my second semester of beginner band, I was like, I want to join the jazz band. And he's like, normally, like if you're in beginner band, you don't do that. You don't even know all your scales yet. Like it's kind of weird, but like I'll let you do it. I think you can handle it. And I remember that I tried it, and in the second rehearsal, I missed something. I messed up. And I remember that he had to stop for a second, and he was like, did you mark your mistake? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, in this band, we don't make mistakes like that. You need to do better. And oh my God, when he said that, I practiced so fucking hard for the next, because it was a Friday or a Thursday that he said it. I practiced so much over the fucking weekend. When I came back, like I knew every fucking chart top to bottom. I almost had like 2 of them memorized. But because I had so much respect for him, and what he said was like, it was kind of mean, but it's because he had like a really high expectation of me. And I like every part of my body, I want to be that person someday to somebody, where if I tell you that like I'm disappointed, like you want to rise to meet that expectation. Because it's like, I can't have you disappointed in me. Like it's not going to happen, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
1,000. No, in high school, I did poorly in school. I'm not a good student. I can't test for my life. I'm pretty sure I have a learning disability, but I managed. Like, I'm actually like pretty proud that I've managed to like figure out my life with a high school diploma and like winged it, because I did drop out of college. And in high school, I had a teacher that I know to this day who helped me hone in my writing. I'm a very bad writer and like I'm not good at it, but I really had this aspiration of being a writer when I was younger. And so I wrote like 3 books out of high school and like tried and attempted. And like when I would hand him an essay, so we had an essay due every Friday in class, and I always was obligated to do an extra one. So he was like, if you want me to mentor you in writing, you're going to have to work harder. I was like, okay. So everyone thought they were like, wow, he's going easy on you, you know, because you're his favorite. I was like, bitch, because I was the Republican and he was the Democrat and we would argue in class. You know, that was the kind of relationship we had. I loved him. And he was so blunt. Like he would come up to me and be like, so, are you brain dead yet? I'm like, from what? He's like, being a Republican. I'm like, okay. And like, it was so fun. And I respected how he treated me. And so I would write this essay every week and I'd be really fucking proud of it. And then he would give it back to me like bleeding with red ink. And I'm like, and he's like, I'm sorry, did you think that was good enough? And I was like, okay. And like, it's honestly, half my kinks come from adult men, like telling me I'm not good enough and then me showing them that I am, and then it being great. And like, it's wonderful. Women, men, it doesn't, non-binary, it doesn't matter. It's all great to me. So like, that really helped me realize, and I grew up in a family that expected a lot from me. And they still do. It's helpful in a lot of ways. I wasn't someone who drowned in that expectation, funny enough. I think men might suffer from that a little bit more. But like, I felt like I always had options. And that helped me. Like having someone say, I expect more from you, made me feel like, yeah, I'm good enough to expect more from.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think on an added thing for that too, and maybe this is just how my brain is working, because normally I don't like praise or whatever, because if I'm doing good, I know I'm doing good. I don't need you to tell me I'm doing good. But getting praise from those types of people is like the most meaningful positive feedback you will ever get in your entire life. When that type of person you super respect is like, you did a really good job on that. It's like, oh, this is like the best feeling ever. Like an MDMA right into my fucking brain.
Well, it's because they don't dish it out all the time to other people, maybe, or like what it is.
And you know that if they're saying it, you earned it.
That's what it is. Ultimately, I don't want to be special because I don't believe in that concept, but I do want to be for my value and standard. Not even exceptional, because that sounds very like Olympian status, and I'm way too lazy for that. But I have expectations of myself. I plan to reach them. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like in a really weird way, I think the most satisfaction I get is like when I go home and I tell my dad how much I make a year, and he goes, "Oh, Brittany, do you really?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." And then next year, like I tell him my goals, and like when I hit them, he's just, because he's a businessman, and he's just very like, "Wow." And I was like, "Thank you. Your useless whorish daughter on the internet is making money." And like, it means something to me because my dad really is a business, like he's very successful, and he's only that way because he like has this brain that's so good. And so to hear like it feels really great, you know what I mean? There's something really like meaningful too, because he's like it's a warm thing. It's not like they're evil, it's like they're warm but strict. It's like they have a standard for you, and it really hits like all those good buttons where I'm like, yes, like I did it. But I also did it for me too, because I'm rebellious and I do it my own way. And that's the thing. My dad always says, I'm glad you make the money. I'm bummed you make it the way you make it. That's what he always says to me.
Sure.
But like, I hit my goals. Yeah, I think so. I think, yeah. Good times.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I'm really hungry. So we're probably going to close this up pretty soon. But it's been really nice.
Yeah. Is there anything else anything else floating around in your brain?
Just a social security number, how much you make, and Melina's phone number.
Gotcha. I'll get back to you with at least one of those things in the next like 12 weeks. Okay.
Okay, great. No, this has been really great. What did you say?
You have to earn that.
Oh, okay. You have to earn this game, sweetheart. I'm the queen of this game. Wait. That makes me a bottom automatically. Okay, for you, Steven, I will bottom. I consent to this. I'll give up my top card. No, I really appreciate you being here and talking for so long, and honestly, like talking about your personal life, because sometimes I do feel like I'm gonna ask a question that's gonna make you feel uncomfortable, but you handle them very well.
Thanks. I try my best. Yeah, okay. Well, hey, until our next conversation, you're an easy person to talk to too, and all that. Yeah, it's been fun. I enjoy it.
Good.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.